Hello, everyone, and welcome to FSR 2016 Round 2 from Bahrain International Circuit. My name is Justin, and joining me for at least the beginning of today's festivities, it's going to be Jeroen Kweekel. Hello, sir. How are you this morning, or today?
Well, yes, for you it's a morning indeed in America, but for me it's definitely an afternoon. No, but indeed, a very warm welcome to everyone. Second round of the season, as Justin has mentioned. First round of the season was quite an interesting race, I have to say. Chris de Jong won that in the end, but got disqualified a couple of hours later because he did not run the anti-cheat software. Which, you have to run it, it's mandatory. But he couldn't run it due to problems with the CPU. I have some similar issue as well, where the CPU gets a little bit overstressed and the game starts lagging. That's exactly what happened with him, and that's why he didn't run the anti-cheat software. But because of that, Antti in the end took the victory, so to say.
Yep, yeah, so Antti in the end, as you mentioned, taking that first win in Australia, and of course, Chris de Jong getting disqualified. So what was a race win is now 0 points for him. So he's lost a number of points, 25 points total, actually, to his total. So Mikael Antti currently leads the championship. He's followed by David Cook, Daniel Benefield, Felipe Giro, Lucas Schmidt, Dewald Nell, Pedro Gomez, Dmitry Zaharov, Juan Lopez, and Tyler Nyurgis rounding out the top 10. So those are the guys that have scored points so far. But I imagine Chris de Jong is definitely going to be looking to kind of repeat that performance. Is he on the server actually though? Is he here today?
Yeah.
Okay, there he is.
But he has a back of the grid penalty as well.
Oh, right, that's right.
I just wanted to keep you guys company in Q1, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I guess you're not going to be too busy during qualifying, right?
I didn't only lose all my points, I lost a lot of tears as well. No, I'm joking, but no, I congratulated Antti and it's completely fair. I got disqualified, and this time I'm back off the grid, so a little bit more tense, but at least we can watch these guys perform. Antti for pole again?
No.
No?
Well, maybe I'm wrong. No, but I think there are also plenty of other guys who are actually able to have a shot at it. Of course, Antti is a big name in this pro series, and undoubtedly he's fast. But yeah, for example, Lucas Schmidt has shown some good pace so far as well in the practice. I think there are definitely other guys who could challenge him. But yeah, it's just a matter of time. Really, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yep, so I'm just actually having a look at Lucas Schmidt right now. I guess while we've got Chris de Jong with us, how are you feeling about the Bahrain circuit, Chris? Are you feeling pretty strong here? Do you think you can grab some points from the back? I mean, we only had 6 drivers finish on the lead lap in Australia, so certainly anything's possible.
Yeah, the only difference in Australia, I had like 500-600 laps of practice, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But my computer died last week, and last Friday I got it back. Finally with a new processor, so I can run my anti-cheat, woohoo! And the crowd goes wild. But this circuit doesn't suit me. I'm actually turtle slow again.
What about the circuit do you not like? Is it specifically turn 10?
It's the bumps.
Yeah.
You know, if it was completely flat, okay, but on the main straight as well, you brake and your car just goes. You know, and before turn 3 it's the exact same thing, and it just doesn't suit me, unfortunately. But hopefully for the rest it will. I do believe, yeah, we already have 31s with Antti and the rest following in 32s. That was a little bit of the prediction, but I believe in WC we might see low 31s, maybe 13.9 even. Is that possible? Our WC expert, Jeroen Kweekel?
Yeah, everything is possible, Chris.
Everything. You know that. Oh, well, sky is the limit maybe for me, but in that.
You can also get a 29, but you would have to obviously cut the first corner, go straight on the
yeah,
road. So.
Yeah. Well, good idea.
Which I think we saw somebody do that in the AMA race yesterday, or was that in Ace actually? Somebody cut all of turn 1.
What I was thinking about, since I'm completely lost on the grid, is I'm thinking there might be carnage in turn 1 and 2, so I'm gonna ask Paschalis if it's legal to just stay stationary after the lights go off for 1 or 2 seconds. No, seriously, and just see, okay, where's the debris, you know?
Yeah, no, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I have made up in my short sim racing career, I've made up an incredible amount of positions while starting from the back just by avoiding carnage. So, yeah, I mean, turn 1 is. I mean, would you say it's as bad as turn 3 at Australia? Is it that level of difficult, or it's a little bit of a
Turn 3
wider
Australia
circuit?
isn't hard at all, in my opinion. But this is just a completely different track, and I mean, I didn't get the practice in maybe 50 laps now. So yeah, I'll just see. Maybe I thought maybe a podium is possible, but then I thought, okay, I'm that slow, maybe top 10, But maybe I get crashed as well. Maybe I do something stupid and earn my first retard award from myself. Anything can happen. And about to state on that, this is the second time in 3 weeks, so in the second race as well, where the guys in Pro have a boost problem, where the Park Ferme is locked, so they can't adjust the boost. So basically, what that means is that their first run they could have used the boost, but then it's locked. So if they go out again, they have to complete their laps without boost. So a mere impossibility to improve, right?
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Everyone who's driving now can't use boost too.
Yeah, it's basically like Real F1 where everybody just could stay in the pit lane as well because there's no use to go out again.
Exactly, and this is completely unfair for these drivers. Personally, I don't, I don't give any of that since I'm chilling with you guys here. And thanks for that, by the way. But yeah, and we see Antti just chilling as well. Maybe he can practice some race pace, in Q1.
Yep, so we got 14 minutes left in the session. Antti with a pretty dominant... I mean, I'm getting deja vu here. I swear he was up by 5/10 in the last qualifying session in Australia as well, but he's the only driver into the 31 so far, and with a 31.7 almost flat, he's looking pretty strong. Lots of drivers in the 33s and 34s even, only the top 7 breaking into the 32s or lower. Pretty darn close, though, between Lucas Schmidt and Felix van Delft. Eugene van Logrenberg as well, not that far behind. Javier Moyano as well, very close behind. So it could be a good race for sure. While we're waiting for these guys to set some lap times and just having a look around, how easy is it, would you guys say, since I've got 2 drivers with me, how easy would you guys say it is to overtake at Bahrain?
Jeroen, what's your top speed? No, I'm gonna stop with that. But if you have a high top speed, we have seen top speeds of 342 from, I believe, Snowschatter Racing.
346 was the top yesterday from Severly at Ghost Speed. That's indeed a high top speed. And if you have that, then there's certainly a good chance of overtaking. And you have to be pretty wise and smart with the boost as well, I think, Chris. Don't you agree? Like, you can use some boost, for example, down the back straight in the second sector and use DRS there to close up a little bit, gain those extra few tenths, which you are going to need down the main straight if you want to overtake down into turn 1.
But having said that, after the second DRS zone in the middle of the circuit, if you're too close to your front rival, then you just have to back off because the dirty air is killing you. And you better, be sure that you can do it on the straight. But if you are close enough in the last corner and you are able to keep that momentum going out of that, then yeah, basically with the boost you can defend a little bit, but the DRS is just twice as much of time gain. And we've seen that yesterday that people already go back to their racing line and think, okay, I'm now already 2 car lengths ahead. You're not gonna cut underneath me again. So yeah, we might see that. Here as well, but what we're not seeing here is cars on the track. The Wild Nell knows he can't improve, David Cook knows it, Felix van Delft knows it. Rest of the guys are currently still setting it up. I'm really curious of what Lucas Smit will do. His first attempt with the boost was a 32.873, so it's a good reference point on what the difference is between driving a lap with boost and without.
And Adam McQuire is currently in 22nd place, yet to set the lap, but you would expect this guy to get into the top 10. I mean, he showed it last time as well. He's a really quick guy. I really believe that, and he could be a good star for FSR in the future if he keeps this improving line going, so to say. I'm really looking forward to what he can do in this qualifying session as well, because he knows too now that the boost setting is locked, so he needs to hammer it down on his first lap, which he is doing, by the way. He was purple in the first sector, is a little bit slower in the second sector compared to Antohovsky, but if he has a good third sector again, then he could be right up there with Antohovsky.
Yep, as he's coming through the final corner now, let's see what he's got. 10 minutes remaining in this session. Apologies, earlier I had some drop frames. Apologies, everyone. I believe that's resolved now, though. And Adam Maguire shoots up into second position, 7/100ths of a second slower than Antohovsky. So we've definitely got a battle on our hands for pole position here. That is a very, very close time, and so what you guys are saying basically is because of the problem with the boost in qualifying for Pro, really Antohovsky and Maguire, neither of those guys will be going out again, or if they do, they won't be improving.
Yeah, well,
Indeed,
the boost setting is locked.
Lucas Schmidt just passed the cross-start finish line, did a reasonable lap, at 4/10 slower than his first lap, and first laps are usually a banker lap as well. So he has much more potential, but he is denied the opportunity by, no offense to any of the admins, but by cocking up in that part. And once it can happen, we had the same situation in Australia, and stuff happens. We're all human, but then the second time in a row, it becomes a little bit cheeky, right? And definitely after yesterday, none of these guys had the issue, so maybe it's a curse that lies on Pro.
Well, hopefully we don't see too many curses today. I know I'm personally concerned about the curse of refueling.
Curse Antohovsky for me, please. Please help me. Do it, please.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll commentate as much as I can about Mikhail and try to get you an improvement.
He's a great guy, and if he wins today, it's most likely deserved. Like we have seen the winner yesterday in Ace.
Well, it's looking like it's not going to be easy for him. As I mentioned, Adam Maguire definitely looks like he's on a similar pace. It's only Q1, so we'll have to see what these guys can do in Q2. Juan Sanchez currently in the pound seat, as it were, and he actually just finished a lap. Did not improve, 33.455. He's just 6/1000ths of a second faster than Felipe in P11. Yeah. I'm not sure which of these guys have. I mean, I don't expect they're going to be improving because of the boost problem, so we may have our top 10 here.
But talking about what's easy and what's not, I mean, it's all relative, of course. Last year it was hard for me by staying on the track, but if I do some proper laps here, and I'm really happy with that, Mohammed Patel might say, dude, are you seriously happy with that? I can go a second quicker. And I'm like, dude, and that's the thing I love about FSR, all the cars are the same. We can obviously influence the terms of setup, and but on that base, everything is the same. So it's really all about talent, because I'm convinced that if I give my setup to Mohammed, that first of all, I have to beg him to use it, let him use it, but secondly, that he will still go quicker than I can, and that's the talent bit. So for any of you guys watching at home, bragging about your skills in the YouTube chat, just download the mod and have a whirl with it, and see if you can notch out the 31-second mark in Bahrain. that's something
obviously
I have
without
yet to assistance except clutch.
Right. Yeah, I would like to give it a shot. I'd like to try the FSR car at some point. I'd still like to try last year's FSR car too.
As well. It's great. Definitely for a V6 mod, it's the best one around, in my opinion.
And we had a spinner back there at, I think that was turn 13. I missed who that was. One of the ACR cars.
Yeah, sorry to undercut you, but look at this chat. Jordi Lopez is asking about Park Ferme. And then he's asking, how do I turn it off? It's awesome, but it's pro, I mean, we're all some newbies. I'm just a noob that's still noob after a few years.
Yeah, we've got lots of Bahrain action today, obviously, with Pro coming up first, and then the F1 race in Bahrain as well, and then the WC race, of course. None of those to be missed, although if you have to miss one, I'd recommend the one in the middle there. But yeah, I certainly would not miss the WC race. I definitely would not miss the Pro race. It's looking like it's going to be pretty close up at the front. And
No, but it's very easy in that aspect. I mean, the real Formula One ends the race, and then you're like, what should I do? Oh yeah, desserts is on. You know, maybe I missed Q1, but you know, then Q2 is underway in WC, and then you have a nice, you know, FSR racing dessert. Perfect weekend, if you ask me.
yeah, I couldn't agree more.
If you watch the end of the end of the real Formula One, you would only miss like maybe a part of Q1. Then you can just tune in here to watch me blathering on about nonsense and whatsoever.
Yep, for another 57 laps of the Bahrain International Circuit, which I have to say looks fantastic at night, not just in real life, but in the mod as well. I'm a big fan of the race at night. So still no improvements as far as we've seen. Actually, Dmitry Zaharov jumping up ahead of Felipe Giro only marginally by just over a tenth of a second, but still outside the top 10. But that would mean that he would be starting from P11 if things end as they are right now.
Yeah, and there are still people who are talking in the chat right now while drivers are
Yeah, what the fuck?
are driving. I mean, there's a clear rule, and that is that you aren't allowed to use any kind of chat, and that's what people also say in the chat. You say no chat, but still people are chatting. For example, Sarov noticed a minute ago that there's no boost tool, while
Exactly.
people were all talking, were already talking about it 13 minutes ago. So maybe he's not fully awake. However, he is currently in 11. As
I can
Justin has
sympathize.
mentioned.
But
Yeah,
this is seeming like an Oprah Winfrey show in the terms of chat.
exactly.
Well, I can't see the chat, so I'll have to take your guys' word for it.
Since the start of Q1, there have been 7 things said. So 7 people chatted.
And we're just, I'm actually having to look now at DeWald Nell as he's going through turn 1. Oh, and
Oh, he will be happy with third place, by the way.
Red flag, server, red flag.
uh-oh, what happened?
Does this mean I can practice for the remaining 3 minutes since it's a red flag?
Who broke
It's
it?
indeed a red flag.
It says red flag with server tag with me. Don't you guys see it?
Interesting. Well, there's only 3 minutes remaining in the session. Eugene coming out of the pits right now, actually.
There's someone in the chat saying they are chatting because the boost 2 setting is ridiculous. Yeah, no shit, we knew that, but the rule is you don't chat, so there we go. Rules
Yep.
are the rules.
It's the same
There are
for
still
everyone.
plenty, yeah, exactly. And Felix van Delft saying, for example, guys, seriously. But yeah, of course it's frustrating, but still you have to be stay calm about it, and you can moan about it in the chat, but it won't really help.
But do you guys see the red flag
Yeah.
server?
The server indeed said red flag, red flag.
Any one of you fancy some tea?
Is that British tea or like the kind you drink? Is it, because I never know these days.
I have no idea.
Chris likes British tea, so we'll go with that.
So yeah, as we were saying, DeWald Nell currently in 3rd position. He finished 6th in Australia, so he's got 11 points as it stands right now. I believe he was the last driver to finish on the lead lap in that race, so I'm sure he would be very happy to be starting from 3rd position.
1 second, Ronsi in the YouTube chat asks, why is the boost setting locked? Well,
Server
basically...
config is not set up right.
Exactly, there's the configuration of the server hasn't been set up right. We have Park Vermeer running for Q1 already. Park Vermeer means that you cannot make major adjustments to the car from quali to race. But unfortunately, with the Park Vermeer, the boost setting has been locked, which usually shouldn't be locked. So therefore, some drivers have a value of 1 in their setup, while value 2 is quickest, but they cannot change it to value 2 because of the Park Vermeer. And therefore the boost setting is locked. So that's where that comes from.
And is it going to be that way in Q2 as well?
Last race it wasn't, I believe, Chris, was it?
Well, the thing is that Park Vermeer is on in Q1, so that must mean that in
Yeah, you have it for
Q2. It
Q2,
won't be.
yeah.
But that's the same in WC, and then you can still use the boost. But I don't know which settings we're talking about. I have no idea of setting up a server like that. But there might be something, a setting that can be turned on or off, where it says from allow to use boost without, park fermi or width. Maybe something happened in there. I don't know, but the drivers are obviously raging, and that's completely understandable. We're gonna restart the server.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead and... We're gonna restart the server, and I'm gonna go ahead and take off rFactor.
Take your microphone and sing a song for the lovely people at home.
Nobody wants
a show.
Nobody wants to hear me sing. Trust me. So it looks like that's going to do it for Q2 or for Q1 then. So the top 10
they
as
may
we
restart
saw.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So the that's our top 10 who will be moving on. Can't show it on the screen right now, but as we mentioned, it is looking like Antti is looking very strong. Adam Maguire as well. It's looking like the two of them are going to be battling for pole position. Excited though to watch Christy Young make his way through the field. We might have a good battle at the front, and also somebody coming through the field making overtakes. So it should be a lot of fun.
I think maybe the 8th position is the maximum. I have no idea, but I don't count myself in the top 5 so that easy. The tire degradation here is killing.
It's a little bit I have a little bit of a doubt what the race director is going to decide on what to do. Are we going to restart Q1 with, for example, a 5-minute session, or are we going to go to Q2? In that case, the top 10 drivers would be Antti Hovstsi, Maguire, De Wald Nel, David Cook, Lucas Schmidt, Felix van Delft, Benefute van Lorenberg, Moyano, and Juan Sanchez.
Well, Paschalis is the race director, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's a smart guy. He knows what to do. As long as he doesn't write Greek to us, then everything will be clear.
Someone in the chat saying as well, what's the big difference between Boost 1 or 2? Chris, you want to answer that one?
With Boost 1, you have like a fuel saving mode, and with Boost 2, you have a very high fuel consumption, but you get that little bit of extra power as well. We're talking about maybe 70-80 horsepower, but definitely noticeable. So there you have it. You can play a little bit with that. But then again, if you do it too much, then you might run out of fuel. But you can also choose to start with 10 or 20 liters less and don't use it at all the entire race. So it allows a bigger window in terms of strategy, and for us drivers to make the correct decision. And just another parameter to take in account. Now we only need crickets chirping.
I'm trying to fix the fix the game here. Let's see if I can do it. I think I got it. Okay. Oh no, I didn't.
Some people are again joining, of course, but currently we're in qualifying 1, 19.5 minutes, and Paschalis has told the drivers to set a lap. Someone do a lap, he said, so we'll see.
Okay.
Working on it.
Sounds like he's doing troubleshooting. As somebody who does troubleshooting quite a bit, that's what it seems like to me. So he wants someone to set a lap. Hopefully that will tell us whether or not the issue is still there. But it seems like we're going to be restarting the qualifying session. So, or maybe not. I'm not entirely sure actually. maybe Paschalis has some other ideas up his sleeve. Who knows? But the drivers are slowly getting back into the server now, and we've got some.
Oh. I'm going out on track, that's for sure. Oh, I got a nice pit box, the same that Alvaro Torres had yesterday. This is yeah, just look at me, I mean.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. That's great positioning right there. Yeah, there was one particular FSR fan yesterday who was pretty upset about the placement of that car, as I'm sure Paschalis remembers. We're watching you come out of the pits, Chris. Is this weird? Chris de Jong heading into turn 1. Got some traffic up ahead.
Allah Akbar.
Oh gosh!
Oh.
With your very recognizable helmet, it has to be said. I have not seen anybody with a similar helmet. Oh, going
You
off
should
to...
have a look at the helmet from Ben Horrell. Because Ben Horrell is being sponsored by Durex on the side of his helmet. So.
GG, well played there.
Durex sponsorship, possibly the best sponsorship of all time in Formula One. Wow, he's got the pink mirrors too and everything. That is some fancy stuff right there.
So we're waiting for someone to set a lap then and confirm back to the race director whether the boost setting is still locked. From there onwards there will be a decision made.
I think DeWald is on a flyer right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yep, okay, so DeWald might actually be the first driver to set time.
No, Felix I think.
Oh, Felix? Okay.
Could be. But I may be wrong too.
Yeah, he's coming down towards technically the penultimate corner. The final corner at Bahrain is technically 2 corners, turns 14 and 15 if I'm not mistaken, or is it 15 and 16? No, it is 14 and 15.
14, 15, yeah.
Yep.
There we go, Felix setting a lap, so he's the guy who could confirm whether the boost is still locked.
So we should be getting some information soon here. Thank you everybody for watching and for being patient with us. Cars coming out of the pits now.
It seems like it works, so we have now boost setting which is not locked anymore.
Hey!
And okay, what we are going to do now is a 10-minute qualifying 1 session.
Oh. 10-minute qualifying session. Okay, so it's going to be...
Yes, and we're basically already underway. So the session will end as soon as the timer says 6 minutes left.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I did a lap. Oh shit. Well, not my fault for cocking up. I hope with reconnecting I get another grid slot because, you know, yesterday with Alvaro, I don't want to have that.
Oh,
There's
no. The restarting.
There's a camera coming.
Ah, the sun's out!
You're restarting the show? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has been restarted indeed.
Restarting the session. We'll have a look down the wonderful pit lane. So how many... I'm sorry, this is completely my fault. How many laps for today's race in Pro?
43.
43, okay. So, I mean, we're definitely looking at least a 2-stop. I can't imagine anybody 1-stopping 43 laps at Bahrain. So I imagine at least a 2-stop is the strategy that we're going to be looking at. Drivers starting to come out now. Once again, there we go. It says 25 minutes at the top, but let's assume that it'll be over at 15 minutes time.
Yeah. If you cross the line after 15 minutes, or everyone after 15 minutes, their laps are not gonna count anymore, so... There we go.
Can you finish a flying lap, though?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. The head-to-head battle now between Antti and Adam Maguire will resume.
That will be interesting now, you know. Those guys are going to get multiple laps at least to get a shot in, so it's going to be a little bit more representative in that way to see what they are doing and how close they are to each other. That's the same for everyone pretty much, of course, because they can do multiple laps without the boost setting being locked.
And I'm sure the previous top 10 right now are just wishing that we had moved on to Q2, because this, you know, if you were right there on that cutoff point, then you might be thinking to yourself, well, darn, this is just an extra opportunity for me to mess up. So these guys are going to have to be setting some clean lap times first. You know, as Jeroen was mentioning earlier, you want to set a banker lap early on, and then start pushing and see how far up you can get. But certainly you don't want to get caught out, especially with a truncated session at just 10 minutes. It could be very easy for somebody to get caught out here. So we're going to be keeping our eye on everybody. And actually...
Keep notice when David O'Reilly comes back, please.
Yeah, David is not yet in the server. That's the only driver we have, you know, been missing so far.
Do we have 24 drivers for today's race?
A little bit less, probably.
Okay.
Like 23, I think.
Okay. And I'm actually having a look at Jordi Lopez right now as he's coming through the final corner. He gave himself a little bit of a gap, a little bit of clean air to run his first qualifying time.
Yeah, his first ever qualifying time.
Oh, this is his first race.
It is his first race indeed. Jordi Lopez was definitely looking forward to this one. He is an American as well, Justin, so you can relate to that a bit.
All right.
America. Fuck yeah.
And he's driving for ACR as well. He might as well just have an American flag sticking out of the top of his cockpit. That's fantastic.
Of course. I mean, any movie where America's going anywhere, they have to plant a flag. They get off on that. You know? And that's okay. We respect you for that.
It's getting a little bit confusing for us as well, of course. What I just heard as well is that this is actually a practice session. And when the practice session has 20 minutes left, we will move to Q1 finally. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're going to have a 5-minute warm-up.
Yeah, O'Reilly just joined, so there we go.
Okay.
So we've got everyone back in.
So I'll see if I reconnect that he has my pit box now and I'm in the field. Such a cheeky bastard.
Strategy. Nice.
David has a normal pit box, Chris.
No! Damn you! I'll search me right for fine.
So Jordy's making his way to the end of the lap now. We've already got a few times set, but again, we've just heard that this is in fact just a warm-up session, so these times will not count towards the qualifying for today's race. Adam Maguire, though, setting a 131.969. It's about 0.2 off of what he did in Q1. But of course, he may have gotten the news that this was not going to be the official qualifying session. Jordi Lopez crosses the line with a 133.727, very respectable time. That certainly puts him right in the thick of things, so that's good for him.
Yeah, 1 more minute then until Q1. Still a practice session, of course.
And I'm very happy to say I have not dropped any frames since that little issue earlier on in the stream. Apologies.
Thing is as well, probably these drivers all are going to miss the real F1, so they won't be able to watch the start of the race at least.
Well, you know who I'm missing from the A-location list? Well, not literally missing, no shots fired, Ron, but yeah, there you have it. Ron Squire, he A-located for Pro. But
oh, that's why people in the chat are going crazy with Ron Squire.
Yeah, if Ron's there, I mean, his total YouTube subscribing posse, you know, they represent them, y'all. So, but the thing is, without a joke, I mean, I think Ron is a nice guy. He just needs to try AMA first, you know. And, well, fortunately, Charville Rias isn't here.
I caught some of the AMA race yesterday. It seemed quite a bit more competitive compared to the Australia race. I believe more drivers as well. I think I saw there was 15 drivers on the grid at the start of the race. Once again, though, maybe it's a curse of some kind, but every time I watch AMA, I seem to see Chris Cobb running into somebody. As we see Dmitry Zaharev actually coming up to turn 4, which is where I saw Chris Cobb make contact with someone. I don't think it was his fault, though. He was on the inside, and he did not get left the space. And all the time you have to leave the space. So there you go. Well, the driver's clearly very excited to get out there, as we've got quite a number of people in the pit lane ready to go. Oh wow, yeah, everybody is very anxious. Again, with this truncated 10-minute session, it says 20 minutes at the top, but it is a 10-minute qualifying session. And here we go for the start of this Q1 Round 2 from Bahrain, FSR Pro 2016. And it's time to see what these guys have got. The first Tilka track of the season, of course, the first race being in Australia. So this is the first Tilka design track. It won't be the last one, that's for sure. In what is a very long season as well. I don't remember if it's the longest season. It's certainly the longest in recent years, if I'm not mistaken.
But 16 races, I believe, this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is one of the longer seasons, and maybe the longest indeed. However, I think it's nice and exciting. I mean, 2 years ago we had 12 races. That's just poor, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine yourself being a real driver. You would still have to jump into the plane, because this year they have a record of 21 races in real Formula 1. So, and you know what? I'm actually gonna say it. I'm actually looking forward to Baku. Not in terms that it has that it needs to be on the calendar, but I think it's a better venue than another Tilke circuit like Abu Dhabi. You know, and in that terms, I think a lot of drivers can prove themselves because the top speeds that we're gonna see there are amongst 340, 350 as well. You know, and you have some nice complexes, and I do think that the real drivers will stand out on that. However, Lucas Schmid is yet smarter to make his first flying lap of this afternoon. Well, that's a little bit of a lie, but the first lap that's actually counting. And let's see if he can, show us how it's done.
Into turn 1, a little bit of a bump, as you were mentioning earlier, Chris. Quite a bumpy circuit.
It's a minefield.
Dipping down again at turn 2 as well. It looked like there was a big dip down there as well. Full throttle, of course, down towards turn 4, braking after the 100-meter board and getting it turned in nicely. I think he could have gotten on the power a little bit earlier there, used a bit more of the track, but into the S section down the hill towards the hairpin, which hopefully we'll see some overtaking at this hairpin location. It's not a bad overtaking spot whatsoever. Lucas fighting the wheel at the exit of that hairpin. And here comes the infamous turns 9 and 10. He gets a bit of a slide heading into it, and onto the power nicely for what is the back straight, the second DRS zone of this circuit, and into turn number 11. Very high speed, using third gear for that one. Actually,
this is actually a tricky sector of corners here.
Not quite full throttle up this hill, even in quali. Yeah, I heard a big lift from Lucas there. Even in quali trim, it's not full throttle through turn 12.
Yeah, it is full throttle in race, but you know, if you want to pit after 4 laps, you should do full throttle. Ah, not joking. And by the way, if you touch the outside curb right here with Lucas Schmid, then you know you're not having a good time at all.
Yeah.
Curbs here are deadly. Nevertheless, 32.3,
very respectable.
357, yeah, respectful indeed. But
yeah,
he has time for one other.
He's over a second ahead of Felix van Delft and Daniel Benefield as well, and he's going to head straight back out for another lap. Let's have a look at Adam McGuire as he's heading down the start-finish straight now. Where is he going to put himself? 131.9.
Boom!
Same time that he did in the practice session, actually. So, again, about 2/10 off. He did a 131.7 in the qualifying session that got wiped away. And Antohovsky, holy cow. 5/10, half a second quicker, 131.4. What a lap from Mikhail Antohovsky. That is an incredibly dominant time, and he's going to go back out. Apparently, he doesn't think he's safe with the 131.4, so he's going to head out for another lap, apparently. And we got lots of times going in. Teodoros putting in a non-representative time, clearly, with a 141. I'm sure he's going to be looking to improve. I think he's looking to improve right now, in fact. We have a car off the circuit as well. I think that might actually be the wall now. Yeah, it sure is. Oh, gosh.
There goes the out lap of the Walt now, and there goes the hot lap of Theodoros as well.
Well, good news is there's 5 minutes remaining, so they definitely have enough time to get back out there and put in another flying lap. So that's the good news, at least. But yeah, that was a bit awkward there. He was upside down like a turtle there for a minute.
Theodoros is driving without a front wing, by the way. I don't know why he keeps on going. He better just, you know,
because he can.
Press escape.
That's the logic behind it. Because he can.
That's right. As an American, I would have to argue that he has the freedom to decide if he wants to do that. You know.
Yeah, and if he wants to, stay in 18th place with a 141, he should keep it doing as well.
You Americans can keep your freedom, in my opinion. Don't get near Holland.
It's overrated. So DeWald Nell, though, he is back out on track. Currently in the cutoff zone, Daniel Benefield in 11th position, 3/100ths of a second off of Felix van Delft's time of a 133.494. Juan Sanchez as well, I would have to say, is not safe with a 133.424. He's just a 10th up on Daniel Benefield. And Felipe Giro as well in the 133.5s, as well as Jordi Lopez. So we've got 5 drivers right in that area where they could get knocked out. 4 minutes remaining in this session now, so they're going to have to be on their best behavior and try and put in their fastest, cleanest lap that they possibly can.
Yeah, of course, remember the session ends at the 10-minute mark, and the second hot laps are starting to roll in right about now. Of course, the second wave of cars setting.
Can we
lap
look at the
time
replay,
is,
sorry,
is
on
going.
Javier Moyano? Just press R. We see him going out of the pit. On Hovstsi behind him, and he's like, I don't care.
Whoops-a-daisy.
But yeah, nevertheless, I should have blamed because, you know, in pro, okay, one or two mistakes during a weekend you should learn, you know, and the end of the season you can grow. And we have seen a lot of examples like that. James Sadler, for example, had trouble competing for the top stage of the podium in pro last year. This year he's doing, in my opinion, a fantastic job. And if he would have done that like he did last year, he would have won the championship. Not easy because there was one guy named Jeroen Kweekel. But yeah, he would have made a run for it at least.
So Antti and McQuire again on their laps as well. They come quite close to each other, although McQuire has aborted his lap. So did Antti.
Yeah, so did Antti.
Did indeed. Yeah, okay.
And he's heading out
Those
again.
guys aren't continuing. Yeah,
they're
of
both
course,
heading out again.
You always want to improve. You always want to get a feeling. Thing is, if you set the lap time at the beginning and you're just gonna sit there for 8 minutes long, you don't have a nice flow anymore when you open up into Q2. So it's always nice to still keep on going. And obviously the track conditions are only improving and improving, so your times are only going to get better and better.
And for the crowd.
So again, Dmitry Zaharov not quite safe with his 133.3. Juan Sanchez certainly not safe with his 133.424. Felix Van Del, Felipe Giro, and Jordi Lopez.
Van Delft is on the lap at the moment, behind David O'Reilly coming into the final corner, but he has been on for improvements in both the first and second sector. So we may see Felix Van Delft jumping here, but he does not.
Ooh.
What was his lap time then? 33.5, so only a tenth slower. Lost a little bit of time in the final sector, maybe being behind David O'Reilly.
So it's up to Giro and Lopez. I'm not sure if Van Delft, it looks, yeah, he came out of the pits. He's going to try and go around one more time to see if he can. It's going to be very, very close. He's going to have to really step on it. Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to make it. So it's up to Giro and Lopez to see if they can upset the top 10.
Now he can make it, but the clear words of Paschalis were, any lap set it after 10 minutes does not count. So it's not like crossing the line, you know, after 10 or before 10 minutes that you can still do a lap. But Felix Van Delft is really slow. He's backing off now. He just went out of the pit. Then he's certainly not gonna make it.
No,
but
definitely.
yeah, then mark my words, you're gonna have people saying, you know, that had the different interpretation where they can still set a lap if they were crossing the start-finish line before 10 minutes. But yeah. Maybe I'm looking at it differently, but if he says any lap, I'm gonna look it up now as well. After the 10-minute mark, no lap will count. Well, that's clear language for me.
Yeah, it sounds pretty straightforward to me as well. Jordi Lopez, though, has 30 seconds to finish his lap and is coming into Sector 3 now, so Giro did not improve. He did a 34.5, I think it was, so Felipe Giro not improving. He's gonna be in 12th at highest and possibly
15
13.
seconds for the flag.
Oh gosh, 10 seconds.
Benefield is the last to... he's doing a drift. Nice one, Daniel. Awesome, dude. Well, and Q1 should be over right here.
Yeah, Jordi Lopez just now coming through the final corner, so I'm not sure if that lap is going to count or not. And it puts him into P10. And it puts him into P10, so we'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. I'm not sure if that's going to count or not. It was 5 to 10 seconds after the 10-minute mark.
Piling up into 11th, relegating Sanchez to 12th. But Sanchez, 20 seconds ago, was in 10th, of course.
Yeah.
At that 10-minute mark.
Yep. So as it stands on the left-hand side, Felipe Giro down into 14th. However, that might not be accurate. We will have to see how things work out. And I mean, there's a lot of cars still out on track, so
yeah,
it
they're
certainly
still trying
seems,
it, you know.
Yeah, the drivers are hoping for the best, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Q1 over, he states. So I think it will be disorder. And he did some water bij de wijn, huh? He did some water with the wine to allow maybe another 30 seconds for the drivers to finish. I have no idea, but I think this is the order now.
Yeah.
So Jordi Lopez actually got pushed out on the last minute again by
Sarov.
Was it Sarov? Well, let's see. I predict at least one guy will rage.
Surely somebody's gonna be upset. Because if they leave it as it is, then people that got knocked down after the 10-minute mark will be upset. And if they don't leave it as it is, then people that climbed up after the 10-minute mark will be upset. So certainly no way of making everybody happy. But we will see very shortly here as Q1 now coming to an end, Q2 starting very shortly. And then we will be beginning the race for FSR Pro here from Bahrain.
Q2 starts now, so it seems in this order. So Jordi Lopez is wrecked.
Unfortunate.
Dmitry Zarov came across the start-finish line with 8 minutes 50 or something.
I think Sanchez pushed him out. Because Sanchez was in 10th, then 11th, then 12th, then still completed the lap and got back into the top 10. So that's probably what happened, and now the second qualification session is going on the way, and people may be thinking, what's going on with the light, why is it daytime all of a sudden? We saw this yesterday in Ace as well, and unfortunately it's basically a configuration file within the track which cannot be set for Q2 to have it at nighttime. So we'll actually see this in WC as well, where it's all of a sudden daytime.
It's so bright.
It is bright indeed.
And it's funny, actually, if you look at the lights are casting like a shadow.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So this is maybe a bit different for the drivers, of course, too. You know, they are used to a nighttime track, so to say, but nighttime conditions. But now again, it's daytime and it's bright and day.
So in that kind of confusion at the end of Q1, though, I think we didn't really touch on the fact that Mikhail Antohovsky ended up putting in a 131.2. So what we thought was going to be which is 7/10 faster than Adam Maguire, 7/10. So what we thought was going to be a battle for pole position is not looking that way quite as much anymore. Mikhail Antohovsky looking quite dominant, you have to say. Looking very, very strong, very comfortable as well in that car, and only getting quicker as this weekend goes on. So he could be pulling away at the start.
But Antohovsky is not going to be able to do 2 laps because he went out too late for that in his 5-minute session.
Yep.
Maguire possibly
Agreed.
could do 2 laps if he is quick though on his out lap again, and on his not really an in lap, but immediately presses escape, so to say, after he crosses the line.
Ooh.
First couple of laps are going to be set now. First one is going to be set by Lucas Schmidt. He is followed by Maguire and then Juan Sanchez. So have a look at those guys.
Yep, here they are starting their lap now. First laps of Q2 in this 5-minute session. Adam Maguire, I believe, had a little bit of a lockup through the final corner, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm not sure if that's going to affect his lap or not. Oh, the car in front of him, Lucas Schmidt running right off the circuit.
Schmidt had a major oversteer moment into turn 2, but he keeps on going for some reason. Definitely not going to be a quick time for Lucas Schmidt, but he wants to complete it nonetheless.
I assume he's fueled for 2 laps, but yeah, and if he hit escape now, would that be too late? No.
Yeah, he actually did because he spun in front of Maguire, so Schmidt is going to be able to do another lap now.
Adam Maguire heading into turn 10.
Yeah, 29.2 from him in the first sector. Antohovsky is on his lap now as well. Just started it, he's in the first sector. Maguire being by far the quickest in the first sector so far. Juan Sanchez did a 29.5, so that's 3/10 down on Maguire after only 1 sector alone.
Jeez. And there's not that many, like, sector 2 is definitely where the majority of the turns are, for sure. So 3/10 in sector 1 is pretty big. Maguire coming to the end of his lap now, heading down towards turns 14 and 15, braking after the 100-meter board, getting it turned in nicely, hitting that apex, and avoiding that outside curb, as I forget which one of you mentioned it, but that outside curb, yeah, Chris mentioning that it's ooh, and Adam Maguire with a 131.8, so that's a little bit better than what he set in the previous session. Juan Sanchez doing a 33.4. That's certainly not going to challenge the top guys, as he is 1.6 seconds off of Adam Maguire. That is a huge gap for Q2.
Watch Mikael Antonovsky. He's going to smash the lap, absolutely smash it. He's been quicker in both sectors, especially the middle sector, being much quicker than Adam Maguire. Antonovsky coming across the line right about now, and surely this should be the pole position time. What is it going to be though? A 1:31.2 yet again. So
wow.
There we have it. 6 tenths faster than the next guy, Adam Maguire.
Wow.
Good time from Antonovsky, of course.
That is truly inspiring. I mean, that is amazing. 6 tenths up on the next driver.
Lucas Schmidt is turn though.
All right. Lucas Schmidt is he's starting a flying lap right now. David Cook has not set a lap just yet. Daniel Benefield, excuse me, has not set a lap either. So those are the guys to keep an eye on at the moment. Benefield actually coming through turn 13 now. He's going to be setting his lap pretty shortly here. As it stands right now, Antonovsky leading Maguire, followed by DeWald Nell, Eugene Van Lagerenberg, Javier Moyano, Dmitry Zaharov, Juan Sanchez, Lucas Schmidt, David Cook, and then Daniel Benefield. And here comes Benefield now through the final corners. Oh, and we've got a spinner behind him. I'm not sure who that was. I think that may have been
Sanchez.
That was Sanchez. Yeah. And oh no, I'm sorry. Benefield was not on a flying lap, so now he is beginning his flying lap, with just 6 seconds remaining in the session, just barely getting across. Where is Lucas Schmidt? He is heading into sector 3 right now.
Yep.
Oh, a bit of a
David
lockup.
Cook in front of him. Cook,
yep.
Cook approaching the final corner. What is Cook going to do though? Cook is on the relatively good lap. Could put himself up into 3rd place even, if he can get quicker than DeWald now. Would be nice for David Cook if he could do that, and he does it indeed. Good lap from David Cook, a 1:32.0.
Wow.
Then Lucas Schmidt his turn. He is slower than that. Schmidt is looking at about a 5th, 6th place, I think. Maybe he will prove me wrong. No, it is 5th indeed. 1:32.5. And then it's indeed Benefield and Adam Maguire who are both to set a lap time. Maguire a little bit slower in the first sector than Antonovsky by 1.5 tenths.
Yep, he will be the last car across the line.
Good luck, guys. Have fun.
Yep, you as well, Chris.
Good luck, Chris.
For today's race. Be careful. As I'm sure what everyone is thinking for Chris right now is just play it safe. So
Maguire aboarded this lap, by the way.
Oh, okay, thank you. And Benefield will now be the final car to cross the line here at the end of qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix, 2nd round of the 2016 FSR season. And what can Daniel Benefield do? Can he pull himself up out of 10th? Yes, he does. Up into 9th position, 4 tenths quicker than Juan Sanchez, just outside of the 132s, about a 10th of a second off of Dmitry Zaharov. So that is going to do it for qualifying. There is your top 10. Antonovsky, Maguire, Cook, Nell, Schmidt, Van Lagerenberg, Moyano, Zaharov, Benefield, and Sanchez. And that is going to be the top 10 for today's race. And I think we're going to be doing a warm-up session now. So I'm going to go ahead and run a quick advertisement. All right, welcome back, everyone. So here we are in the warm-up session right now, and Jeroen Kweekel has taken off. He has to prepare for today's World Championship Series race from for Bahrain, which is, of course, coming up later on today. Make sure you guys tune in for that. Straight after Formula One, the Formula One Bahrain Grand Prix. Make sure you come back over to FSR. And we're just going to have a look at the drivers and talk a little bit about the championship while we wait. So you guys will have to bear with me as I'm now alone in the commentary booth. So you guys are going to have to put up with me for the rest of the time here. So in the team standings for FSR Pro, as it stands right now, Origin Front Row Racing Green in the lead with 25 points after Mikael Antohovski's win in Australia. Second position is ACR team. Oh, yeah, just the ACR regular team. Then Origin Front Row Racing Red team is tied for second position. They are tied with the ACR team at 20 points apiece. Avid Chronic Blue team is in fourth position with 17 points as it stands right now. Sinister Race team with 15 points. Avid Chronic Racing Gray team with 13 points. Team Horizon with 8. F1 Champs Racing with 7. Zero Sim Racing in ninth position. They're followed by Origin Front Row Racing Blue. Deltec Racing team. Belgrade Racing Team, Hanseatic Racing Team, and ACR Engineering. Netrex Grand Prix, so far the only team that has not scored any points. So that's how the championship is looking so far after the one single race that we have had. So, of course, the drivers are using this warm-up time in order to acclimate themselves to high fuel, which is why you're seeing much slower lap times on the left-hand side. Seeing 135s, 136s, 137s, even 138s from Vincentovic. So these guys are, after the, of course, low fuel running in qualifying, they're getting used to what the car feels like on high fuel once again. So 6 minutes left in this warm-up session, and these guys are, as I mentioned, just kind of getting comfortable with the car, preparing for the start of this race. And we're going to see what these guys have got coming up very shortly here. And let's actually have a look at Chris de Jong, since he joined us in the commentary booth during qualifying as he makes his way through turn 10 and onto the back DRS straight. He's got a car behind him. I'm not sure who that is, but Chris de Jong looking pretty strong on high fuel. He did mention when I was talking to him earlier that he has not put in nearly as much practice for this race as he has for Australia. Australia, he said he turned 500, 600 laps for that race, and he said he has not turned that much for this race. I don't think he gave us a figure on how many laps he's actually turned for Bahrain, but of course he will be starting from the back of the grid after a technical issue prevented him from holding on to that race win that he got. But I mean, you have to say Chris de Jong is looking like one of the strongest competitors in pro so far this season. We've only got one race to go off of course. So that we can't really see the pecking order, but certainly Chris de Jong is right up there, as well as Antohovski is right up there. Adam Maguire, who did not finish the race in Australia, is also up there as far as pace is concerned. So I'm sure all three of those guys are going to be looking for a clean race with solid results to try and add to their tally. It's a 16-race season, so the lack of points from Chris de Jong in that first race is not as much of a big deal as it would have been in previous seasons, because he's got plenty of opportunities to try and beat Antohovski at some future races, and this is, of course, his first opportunity to do so. Let me see if I can pull up the YouTube chat. That way I can talk with you guys at least while I'm alone in the commentary booth. All alone. How do I do this? There we go. This is what I want. Let me make sure it's muted. Oh gosh. My YouTube's freaking out. There we go. Alright, there we go. So now you guys can keep me company now that Jeroen has left me. But again, of course, he is preparing for the WC race. which I would probably be doing as well if I wasn't doing the commentary and cameras for this race here. As many of you know, I'm sure I am going to be Onage's engineer for this season for WC, and will hopefully be pushing for a good result. Three minutes remaining in this warm-up session now, until we've got the start of this race. Let me see if there's... Oh, it looks like we might be going now, actually. Yep, certainly looks like that. So we are preparing now to begin the 43-lap race. Drivers will be, of course, going out and doing their warm-up lap before the race start. Or the formation lap, I should say. Excuse me. There we go. Drivers making their way to the grid now. And we are very close now to starting this second round of the FSR Pro 2016 season. Mikhail Antohovsky, of course, your pole sitter. And there he is, making his way now. Let's have a look backwards at his competition as night has descended once again here in Bahrain after a surprisingly sunny Q2. The sun decided to come out of nowhere. And all of the cars making their way through. You can see in the background there, the back of the grid just now making their way into turn 1 as Mikhail Antohovsky already halfway down towards turn 4. So he will have to worry about an overheating engine when he makes his way to the grid. Quite a warm race here, I can tell you that much. Even though it is at night, it is quite warm, so I imagine many of these drivers are running pretty high radiator sizes for these races. And I can see Kuba is in the chat as well. We look forward to trying to beat you today, Kuba. Antohovsky through turn 10 on the back straight now. Let's have a look at whoever is in last place. Oh, yes, that's right. The man in last place. Chris de Jong in 23rd position. So we've got 23 drivers for today's 43-lap race. And Chris de Jong is bringing up the rear, and he really doesn't seem in any sort of hurry to get to the grid. Quite a large gap to Ben up ahead of him, and actually a pretty large gap up ahead to Theodoros as well. So that is going to be difficult for Antohovsky, who has already made his way through turn 13 and is making his way down the penultimate straight now towards turns 14 and 15. So Antohovsky's got Maguire right behind, David Cook as well, starting from the second row of the grid. DeWald Nell in 4th position, Lucas Schmidt qualifying in the top 5, Eugene Van Lagerenberg in 6th, Javier Moyano 7th, Dimitri Zaharov 8th, Daniel Benefield 9th, and Juan Sanchez grabbing that final position in the top 10. So Antohovsky making his way to his grid spot now. Chris de Jong making his way to the final corner now. Oh, wow. That is quite the gap Chris is giving to the next car. Hopefully he doesn't get in any sort of trouble for that. I apologize for the FPS dip as 23 cars appear on the screen all at the same time. Let's go ahead and focus on our pole sitter here. Mikhail Antohovsky. We're going to go on board with him for the start, and we're going to look backwards. Particularly having a look on the left-hand side at Adam Maguire. We're going to have a look there and see if we need to go to an off-board camera as the lights are coming on now. And we prepare to go racing here in Bahrain for FSR 2016 Round 2 from Bahrain. Oh, and it's a terrible start for Antohovsky. Either that or possibly Maguire actually jumping the start. I'm not sure what happened there, but Maguire has taken the lead of this race. He's got the inside line for turn number 1. He's going to take the lead quite easily, in fact, actually. Lucas Schmidt as well up into 3rd position after starting from 5th, gaining a couple of positions. So he's ahead of David Cook and DeWald Nell. Antohovsky now pressuring Adam Maguire into turn number 4. They're going to be side by side. Antohovsky with the inside line. Maguire with a bit of a swapper. He's going to lose that position after just a few corners in the lead. Antohovsky retakes the lead of this race, and it's already starting to break away after that slide from Adam Maguire. That put a pretty hefty gap behind them, but Maguire actually making up quite a bit of time heading into the turn 8 hairpin. So he's certainly not out of DRS range just yet, and I'm not sure if any sort of if there was any sort of large incidents in the background there. I apologize if I missed anything. Lucas Schmidt, though, as I mentioned, started from 5th position up into 3rd position now, and looking pretty strong. He's just about in the slipstream of Adam Maguire still. Running quite wide, though, there through turn number 11. That's definitely going to lose him some time to Maguire up ahead as we're coming to Sector 3 now of the first lap of 43. And it's still looking pretty darn close up at the front. Adam Maguire doing his best to hang in there. He's through the dirty air section of the circuit, and now he'll be getting a slipstream, of course, off of the car ahead of him, who is, of course, Antohovsky. Currently the championship leader with 25 points is Antohovsky. And there they are crossing the line. And what is the gap? Oh, I apologize. There we go. It's 3/10 gap between Antohovsky and Maguire as it stands right now. Lucas Schmidt just outside of the DRS range of David Cook and DeWald Nell. But it's looking very, very close. Let's have a look back a little bit further through the field. Jordi Lopez up into 7th position. We've got a couple of cars that went into the pits, it looks like. David Benefield into the pits. Vincentovic as well into the pits. I'm not sure what kind of issues they ran into. Apologies again, I'm all by myself here, so I will no doubt be running into some issues here. So Antohovsky still got Maguire right behind. He has pulled out a little bit of a gap through Sector 2 here. It was 0.3 of a second, now just under 0.7 of a second. Lucas Schmidt just outside of the DRS range of Adam Maguire as well. Let's have a look back here. Ben Horrell started the race from 22nd position, now up into 13th position. So a great start for him. Felipe Giro, as well, as someone pointed out in the chat, up into 8th position after starting from 13th position, so a great start for him. Lucas Schmidt still hanging on to the 3rd place position that he grabbed at the start of the race as well, and is actually doing a pretty good job of hanging on to the back of Adam Maguire. Again, still just outside the DRS range as we come to the end of lap number 2 now. It does look like he's pulling away from David Cook, though, just about a 1-second gap between the two ACR drivers as we cross the line to start lap number 3.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
Did you know that Adam has a penalty?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, here it is, the news then. He did jump to start.
He did jump to start? Okay, I thought that was a suspiciously good start. So what penalty does he have?
Probably a drive-through, but yeah, it could be a stop and go, but it didn't look severe enough to be a stop-go penalty. It's definitely a drive-through, though, at least.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much for letting me know.
No problem.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. So again, guys, yeah, I can't see the chat or anything like that, so that's why I'm having a hard time figuring out everything that's going on, but that's okay. We will make do with what we got. Lucas Schmidt now really starting to drop off the back of Adam Maguire, who we just found out has a penalty. So it does look like Antohovsky is going to be running away with this if things continue as they are. Lap number 3 now, and making our way through turn 10. And Adam Maguire with the DRS firmly open. And he's going to be making some inroads on Antohovsky ahead of him, but for how long? And we don't know what kind of penalty he's got yet. It's either going to be a drive-through penalty or a stop-and-go, according to Jeroen. Lucas Schmidt, though, as I mentioned, not only starting to fall off the back of the top 2, but also starting to pull away from David Cook. It seems like David Cook struggling a little bit after qualifying in 3rd position. Very, very good qualifying for David Cook, but he is in 4th position right now. He's got DeWald Nell behind him and in DRS range as well. Let's see if Adam Maguire is going to go into the pits on this lap. No, he is not. He is going to stay out. Does he get DRS? Yes, he does, as he is less than 0.9 of a second behind. Got some battling going on behind. David Cook has DeWald Nell behind him with the DRS open. David Cook without the DRS. And they're going to head into turn 1, not side by side, but in the order that they were in. So no changes of position back there. Let's have a look a little bit further back if we can and see what's going on. Oh, Nyergis having a little bit of a battle here with Adam Osger. Ooh, Osger? Ooh, I'm not sure on the pronunciation of that one, but he's coming under attack now from Dave Pauling as they head into turn number 4, side by side into turn 4. Dave Pauling with the inside line, but does not brake late enough and is forced to give up on trying to overtake for that position. Chris de Jong already up into P12 after starting from 23rd position. He is on the prime tires, it's worth pointing out, Chris de Jong currently. So he's going to be going long in this first stint. We could possibly even see him taking the lead of this race. 18.7 seconds to the leader. No, even if Antti Hovstsi pits right now, I don't think Chris de Jong would take the lead of this race. It's still very close up at the front, though. Adam Maguire less than a second behind Antti Hovstsi, again, with a penalty as it stands right now. Is it just Oscar? Oscar? Apologies if it is. So here they come now into the start-finish straight once again to finish lap number 4 and start lap number 5. Adam Maguire just within that DRS range of Antti Hovstsi, but he does dive into the pits, and let's see what kind of penalty it's going to be for Adam Maguire. I'm sure there is battling that's going on behind DeWald Nel defending from Eugene van Lagerenberg, but I really want to see whether Adam Maguire is getting a drive-through or if it's going to be a stop-and-go. Jeroen Kweekel, of course, telling me earlier that it's looking like it'll probably just be a drive-through, and that is exactly what it looks like. So the drive-through penalty for Adam Maguire is going to drop him down into 8th position. Certainly out of contention for the lead of this race, no doubt about it. That's going to move Lucas Schmidt up into 2nd position and David Cook back up into 3rd, the position that he started this race in. So it's actually pretty spread out between those guys. DeWald Nel actually breaking away from Eugene van Lagerenberg now. Oh, no. Eugene just grabbing some time back in Sector 1, getting back within the DRS range. Jordi Lopez up into 6th position now. I think he made an overtake on Felipe Giro, possibly. But Jordi Lopez, in his first race, again, as we mentioned in the qualifying session, this is his first race with FSR. So, and he is American as well. So, Jordi Lopez, the American, up into 6th position. A great start for his FSR career. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that. 5 laps into this race now. And let's see if we can find some battling here. It looks like, oh yeah, here is our battling group for sure. Pedro Moura defending right now. Oh, and he's going to go side by side with Ben Horrell. Again, Ben Horrell started way down at the back. There's contact between them, more contact between them. And that's going to send Pedro for a spin. That's going to drop him down into 15th position. I'm not really sure whose fault that was, but yeah, Ben grabbing another position up into 13th now. Not that far off of a points position now. Chris de Jong now into the points, into a points-paying position already, again, on those prime tires as well. So Chris de Jong looking very strong here in Bahrain. Let's take a look back up at the front. DeWald Nel and Eugene van Lagerenberg, actually. Eugene picking up the DRS on the start-finish straight is going to bring him quite a bit closer to DeWald. Not quite side by side, getting very close under the braking for turn number 4, though. Very, very close, nearly making contact there. Eugene getting caught out a little bit, I think, in the slipstream and the dirty air under braking for turn 4. Did manage to get it slowed down and avoid running into the back of DeWald Nel, though, so these guys will continue on racing as they were. And let's go ahead and have a quick peek back at this battle that's going on for P12. David O'Reilly currently leading Ben Horrell, Felix Van Delft, and Pedro Moura now with a big gap after that contact. Adam Osgur as well, quite a bit back. Yep, and as Koopa's pointing out in the chat, the top 7 are all ACR OFR. There's Mikhail Antti Hovstsi, who I have a feeling we're not going to be seeing too much of him in this race, as after 6 laps of racing, he's already got a 4-second gap to Lucas Schmidt. So at that rate, I think he would have a nearly 30-second lead by the end of this race if he keeps this up. So yeah, he is, of course, driving for OFR Green Team. Lucas Schmidt driving for ACR. David Cook as well, driving for ACR. DeWald Nel driving for OFR. Eugene driving for ACR. Jordi ACR. And Felipe Giro is... No, not OFR. So Felipe Giro has ruined the top 7 of all being OFR and ACR. Sorry about that, Kuba. And let's have a quick peek back here. Oh, we definitely got some battling going on here in the background. Ben Horrell coming under attack from Felix Van Del. Felix with the inside line at turn number 1. Ben's going to try this switch back here, but no, he's not going to be able to do anything about that. And he's actually going to lose a position, I think. Oh, but he's got a great exit out of turn number 2. He's going to make it side by side down into turn number 4. He's got the inside line as well, which is, I would have to say, is the preferred line. They're side by side through the corner. He's just about edged him out. He squeezes them at the exit and takes that position straight back. Great racing there from Ben and also from Felix, which is, of course, great news for David O'Reilly, who has managed to pull out a bit of a gap on Ben, over a second now, so he's managed to break that DRS range. Let's see what's going on. Felipe Giro is still within DRS range of Jordi Lopez here. And here they come down the penultimate straight. And I believe this is the only DRS range. No, actually, Eugene van Lagerenberg might get DRS here. It's very, very close. He's just within 1 second. Let's have a quick eye, keep a quick eye on Eugene here to see if he does get DRS, and he does. So he picks up the DRS once again. He doesn't seem to be much of a threat to DeWald Nell, but he's definitely hanging in there. He's keeping him honest, no doubt about that. Jordi as well coming under attack from Felipe Giro, who did pick up the DRS there, and that's going to gain him lots of time on Felipe as they begin lap number 8 now. David Cook now actually starting to close in on Lucas Schmidt, though. He did out-qualify Lucas. Lucas qualifying in 5th position, David Cook qualifying in 3rd position, so we could have a very interesting inter-team battle going on here. David Cook with the Canadian flag on the side of his car. Canadians are sort of like Americans, but not quite. They're a little bit better, to be totally honest. But Lucas Schmidt doing his best to try and defend that 2nd place position, which would be an incredible result for Lucas if he was able to finish here. He finished 5th in Australia, so a nice haul of points for him in the opening round. He finished on the lead lap, which is quite an achievement. Out of the 24 cars that entered into the Australian Grand Prix, only 6 of them, 25% of the cars finishing on the lead lap. Lucas Schmidt being one of those 6. He is definitely coming under attack now, though, from David Cook, getting very, very close. He's going to be picking up the slipstream, heading into the penultimate corner, turn 14 and 15 now. Very, very close under braking. Just look at the gap. I have to imagine that he's just going to fly right by as soon as he gets the DRS here. Here we go, down the start-finish straight to end lap number 8. Starting lap number 9, David Cook with the DRS wide open, and it doesn't look like Lucas is going to defend the position. Yeah, David's just going to take the inside line heading into turn number 1 and easily takes that position off of his teammate. Very straightforward maneuver there for the ACR driver on his teammate. Lucas Schmidt, though, with another great exit out of turn 2, but David is going to defend the inside line heading into turn number 4, and it looks like, oh, Lucas, though, going around the outside. No, he runs a little bit out of track there, and he's going to have to concede and just hold on to that 3rd place position. He's got a healthy gap to DeWald Nell, though, in 4th position, who is 4 seconds behind. So Lucas Schmidt looking like he's on for a podium as it stands right now for sure. Felipe Giro still attacking Jordi Lopez. These two guys very close to one another. Let's have a look further back. Tyler Nyergis coming under attack from Chris DeYoung, who has moved up into 9th position, ahead of Dave Pauling and Dave O'Reilly as well. A couple of Daves behind him. Into the turn number 8 hairpin he goes. Chris DeYoung sizing him up. Tyler is, I think, going to be coming under attack here. Breaking out for turn number 10, getting the car turned in quite nicely. As we mentioned earlier, though, Chris DeYoung is on those prime tires, which I imagine are going to be quite a bit faster than the option tires. So Chris DeYoung, I think, has the advantage here. Oh, wow, some very late braking there for Tyler, though, to defend the position. Chris DeYoung forced to hold back, couldn't quite get alongside him for turn number 11. He's got another opportunity coming up very shortly here, though, to make another overtake happen here. Oh, and Antti into the pits, our race leader and championship leader, into the pits for the first stop. Oh, wow, and he is followed by Lucas Schmidt and also... who was that? Van Lagerenberg. Schmidt, Van Lagerenberg, and Antti all into the pits. Antti comes out on the options, so that's very interesting. I think that tells us that he's going to be going into a 3-stop. Yeah, Daniel, hey, how you doing?
Good. No, I was just watching Antti then, just quickly, so I didn't pin. He missed his pit box. He did not stop.
Oh, Antti did not stop.
He missed his pit box.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting. So, Antohovsky is now essentially he's basically done a stop and go or a drive through. So he's going to be on par now with Adam Maguire, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and essentially, as far as I can work out, does that make David Cook the race leader?
Yep. David Cook now.
In long term?
Yeah, he's the race leader because he did not pit yet. Lucas Schmidt did pit. They were in the battle for second position, of course. David Cook now leading the race. He is on the option tires, though, coming to the end of lap 10, so I imagine he's going to be diving into the pits. Are you going to be joining me for the rest of the broadcast, Daniel?
Yeah, I unfortunately had a bit of an accident that one, but we won't go into detail on that one. Just on the battle for what I'm assuming will be the lead now between David Cook and Lucas Schmidt. Lucas will get the undercut on David. In saying that, David's staying out for another lap, so David might be trying to go for a 2-stop, where Lucas might be trying a 3-stop here, so it should be interesting to see how it works out between the two ACR cars and long runners. Antohovsky's in again.
Yep, there he goes, and he got his pit box this time, so he is going to change onto a new set of tires. And what tire compound is it? Looks like the softs.
Options.
Yeah,
it looks like the options.
Yep. So Antohovsky, where is he going to feed out? Outside the top 10, that's for sure. Here he comes out behind a couple of cars. He's going to have some traffic. He's also got Felix Van Delft along the outside of him. Nope, he just barely edges him out into turn number 1. And where does that put him in relation to Adam Maguire? There's Adam Maguire just now coming through.
It puts him 11th. Maguire's 14th. I saw him Maguire stop. He pitted around lap 8.
Yeah, but he did pit on
end of lap 7.
He did go onto the primes though, so certainly Antohovsky is going to have the advantage for right now, being on those option tires. But with Maguire going a little bit longer, that certainly could be interesting later on. Let's have a look back up at the front. Jordi Lopez beginning to break away, actually, from Felipe Giro. He's got him out of the DRS range, so he's currently in third position, but I don't believe that's a net third position. Coming to the end of lap 11 now.
It wouldn't surprise me since Giro's backed off a little bit. Remember that that one-stop strategy he managed to pull in Melbourne. I wonder if he's going to try it again here.
Oh, that's right.
David Cook, in fact, David Cook and DeWald now have stayed out, so is Giro, but Jordi Lopez is in for his first stop of the race from third. So we'll see where he rejoins in about 20 seconds' time.
32 laps remaining. I'm pretty sure the primes can do 16 laps no problem, so I wouldn't... Yeah, and there goes Jordi onto the prime tires as well, and it looks like Felix Van... Nope, that's not Felix Van Delft, I apologize.
It's Nerges and Dave Paling as well.
Yep, Dave Paling as well into the pits. Lots of drivers in. So yeah, Tyler, Dave, Felix, Pedro, all into the pits now at the end of lap number 11. And it wouldn't surprise me actually to see all of these guys going onto the prime tires with 32 laps remaining. Pedro gets
Paling is, Nerges is, Van Delft I think is, and Mura was the other one that pitted, and I can't quite get... Mura's actually gone back onto the options.
Interesting choice. Well, he could still be trying to two-stop. If he can get like 13 laps or so out of those options, that'll bring him to lap 24. He would have to do 19 then. Oh, and we've Dave Paling just lost a position actually to Pascal Chapon. I'm not sure what happened there. Let me have a quick replay. So here he is heading into turn number 4. Oh yeah, and he just gets a big slide into turn number 4. Big slide. Sends him off the circuit, and that loses him a position. Very unfortunate for Dave there. He's got an opportunity, though. Here he's all over the back of Pascal here. They both got the DRS, but Dave, of course, with a powerful slipstream, he's going to grab the inside line heading into turn number 11, and he is going to retake that position. So, in the end, not losing any positions as a result of that slide, but certainly losing some time.
Yeah, David Cook, our race leader, has just made his first pit stop. He's come out on the primes just ahead of Chris de Jong, which is second overall. More importantly, ahead of both Lucas Smith and Mikel Antohovsky, who's just scraped ahead of David O'Reilly, but I don't think O'Reilly's pitted yet, and O'Reilly would have been letting him pass. So David Cook is currently second, but I'm pretty sure it's a net lead. We'll have to wait to see when DeWald Neld pits for his first stop of the race.
Yeah, just watching a replay of that overtake by Antti. Very straightforward maneuver there. No problems for him whatsoever. And yeah, I've got to imagine DeWald is going to be pitting very shortly. I can't imagine those. If you could actually, can you check for me and see what DeWald's last lap time was?
No, that's David Cook. DeWald now, his last lap was a 36.70, so he slowly dropped off the last few laps. He's slowly getting higher up into the 36s, but I remember in Melbourne he did the same thing. He went a little bit longer on his first stint. We'll see as he snaps sideways on the exit of the last corner, and he comes into the pits now.
Yep, there he goes. Yep, and I fully expected that. So he comes into the pits. So David Cook should take the lead of this race, and he's coming through the final corner now, followed by Chris de Jong and Lucas Schmidt as well. And I believe Lucas is actually going to pick up DRS here. Yes, he does, off of Chris de Jong. Is he too far back to do anything about it? Chris is going to defend the position, rightfully so. I think Lucas... Oh, wow! Very late braking from Lucas Schmidt, though. Tries to go around the outside at turn number 1. That was a very, very brave move, but Chris de Jong saw it happening and was able to defend that position very well. He's going to defend once again into turn number 4, but no, he couldn't get alongside. So Lucas Schmidt is going to hold off behind Chris de Jong. Of course, Chris de Jong started on the prime tires, everyone, so he has not stopped yet, whereas Lucas is going to be on much fresher prime tires. So it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if Lucas does get by eventually. I mean, look at this. Chris de Jong even having to take a defensive line into turn number 8. Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before Lucas gets by here.
It's going to be interesting, actually, watching Chris de Jong. He might, obviously starting on the prime tire and starting at the back of the grid, he might try and one-stop here, and he is fighting these guys pretty hard, so I'm not sure that will burn his tires up a bit. So it's going to be interesting to see the strategy card that Mr. de Jong plays, as Lucas trying to look around the outside at turn 12. That doesn't work.
No. Yeah, I think he would have to be on options compared to Chris de Jong's worn primes if he was going to try and make that work. Down the penultimate straight they go, and into the DRS detection. Chris de Jong, oh, nope, he just lets him through. I think Chris just giving up there.
No,
he wanted DRS, you think?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He might be a little bit tight on fuel, so I wonder if he's just gonna hang behind Lucas and just keep the DRS, save tires and bit of fuel, and saying that he did have a little bit of a look going into turn 1 then.
Oh, and we've got Vicentovic actually. Oh, okay, he's letting cars through. He's a lap down, so he has stopped at the end at the pit exit, and he is letting all of these cars through because there is a big gaggle of cars ahead of him. That group of cars being led by, I believe that was DeWald Nell, or no. Yes. Yeah, that was DeWald Nell, David O'Reilly, Felipe Giro, Jordi Lopez. So David Cook currently leading this race on the prime tires. Lucas Schmidt 4 seconds behind him. Chris de Jong right behind him as well, and losing time pretty quickly, actually. Van Lagerenberg into 4th position. He's followed by Antti, who is on those option tires. So Antti is going to be going pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at David O'Reilly, who's 7th, and I'm pretty sure he's yet to stop. Did Giro stop? Giro must have stopped. Yeah, Giro's on the prime tire now, so I think Giro's going to be 2 stopping, but I'm pretty sure David O'Reilly hasn't stopped yet.
Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, if Giro stopped already, yeah, as you mentioned, I don't think that means he's going to be going to the end. I mean, we didn't think he was going to be going to the end in Australia though, and he proved us wrong. So in the end,
he did pit a bit later though. He pitted lap 15, lap 16 in Australia. I mean, we've only hit that mark now as David O'Reilly comes into the pit lane from P7.
Yep, there he goes. And that's going to move Felipe Giro now up into 7th. Felipe finishing in 4th position last time out in Australia with that one-stop strategy. Worked out quite well for him, in fact. Let's have a look. So Lucas Schmidt... yeah.
Just in the back, just in behind Giro, Adam Maguire just got past Jordi Lopez for 8th place as well, and we'll now have Felipe Giro in his sights up ahead of him for P7.
Just going to have a quick look at that. Yeah, grabs the inside line with the DRS. Very straightforward move. We're seeing a lot of that, actually. Lots of overtaking into turn 1, DRS assisted, of course, and no surprise there. But yeah, Adam Maguire currently in a bit of a sandwich. He's got Felipe Giro just ahead of him. Jordi Lopez still going strong though, in 9th position, just behind Adam Maguire, and looking good in his first race. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Maguire does a similar move on Giro this lap that he did on Lopez last lap. He is very fast compared to these guys. We've had a bit of a mix-up for third as well. Now Enterhosky's third, De Jong's fourth, and Van Longenberg's dropped the fifth.
Interesting. Van Lagerenberg, though, all over the back of De Jong here.
Yeah, and he'll have DRS because actually De Jong's coming into the pits.
Yep, so De Jong pits after starting on the prime tires. He's going to pit at the end of lap 16, which definitely means he's at least 2 stopping, at the absolute least. And let's see where he's going to feed out. He's just now getting into his pit box. Good stop for him, no problems there. He's already down into 9th position, and now he drops down into 10th. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was Vicentovic going by.
David O'Reilly's in again.
Uh-oh. Yep, it seems David O'Reilly has had some sort of issue. He's pit again, and that's going to drop him right down to 14th, 15th, and is he going to go any lower than that? No, Pascal behind him is pitting. Yeah, and too big of a gap to Adam. So David drops down to 15th position. I'm sure he's going to be upset about that. Not sure what happened in his pit stop.
Maybe he just had a stop and go and forgot to untick the tires, unselect the tires, and so ended up getting a new set of tires. Not sure there. So Enterhotsky last lap was a 35.5. David Cook did a 35.3. So Enterhotsky is closing in a little bit. Not so much last lap, but it's going to be interesting actually, since he missed that pit box on that first stop. What was that lap? Cook did a 35, another 35.3. Schmidt did a 35.6, and a Hosky a 35.1. So he was definitely the quickest of the 3 that time around. But it's going to be interesting to see if he'll close down to David Cook. I think he'll get to Lucas Schmidt, but I'm not sure about David Cook.
And the real question is, though, will he have any tires left when he gets up behind him? When he gets behind Schmidt, is he going to have enough tires left? Because, of course, he is on those options, and they might be faster than the primes on Lucas Schmidt for right now, but that's only going to last for so long. So he needs to try and get close and then make the overtake as quickly as he possibly can. Otherwise, he's just going to end up losing the position straight again to Lucas Schmidt right away.
So, by the looks of it, Enterhosky's running a similar strategy to what he did in Melbourne, and that was option prime. Whereas the 2 ACR cars have gone option prime. So it'll be interesting to see if they go into options or primes at the next stop, and at what point that stop will be made. So we should expect Enterhosky in probably around lap 25, roughly, to go into primes to go to the end. But it's going to be what these 2 ACR cars do that will decide this race.
He's definitely getting very close. Look at that. I mean, he's so close behind him now coming through the final corner. I don't think he was within DRS range, though, so I don't think he'll be picking up any DRS.
No DRS.
Nope.
But that lap, that lap was a good 0.8 faster than David Cook, which you'd sort of expect considering he is on the options, but a 34.9 for Enterhosky that last time around. So he is closing down. The gap is a second, so he should get DRS on the back straight between turns 10 and 11 once they get to that part of the lap.
And right now, actually, the closest battle on track is, I think, Felix van Delft trying to take Ben Horrell's 10th place position. He does get DRS. Yeah, DRS firmly open there as they cross the start-finish line, and he's going to move to the inside for turn number 1. It looks like he's too far back, though, to my eye. Yeah, he's definitely too far back. and so he's not able to take that position. Again, though, Ben Horrell started from 22nd position up in P10. Chris de Jong started from 23rd position in P9 as it stands right now. So both of those guys doing a fantastic job from what was last and second to last on the grid, and they're both in the points right now, which is pretty fantastic.
Just on the De Jong's going to be stopping again because he put the prime tire on again. So I think what Chris is going to be doing is a quick absolute dart to the end. We've had a couple of retirements. Got Tyre Nerges out, got Xavier Morano out as well, so that leaves just 18 cars left in the race as our race leaders come to complete lap number 18. Lap number 19, I should say, sorry. And Antohovsky wasn't that quick last time around, only
No.
36.2, and he dropped a little bit, and Van Loggeberg's in as well.
Yep, there's Eugene. He's coming into the pits from those soft tires after just 19 laps. I mean, he's going to be doing... There's 24 laps remaining. I mean, it's certainly possible to go to the end. I don't know how fun that would be. Oh, and actually we've got a battle up ahead. Chris de Jong taking what is now 7th position off of Felipe Giro after that pit from Eugene van Lagerenberg promoted both of them up, and Chris de Jong taking that position, wow, dominantly. I mean, look at the gap he already has heading into turn number 4. Really nothing Felipe could do there. So Chris de Jong moving himself up into 7th position. Of course, he definitely has a stop still to go. As was pointed out by Daniel, because he's got to go on the option tires still in this race. Let's have a quick peek at Antohovsky. Yeah, again, he's lost out. He was just about within DRS range at the end of the previous lap. He just missed it, I think by less than a tenth of a second. But he's just losing time all through here now. Yeah.
What's happened to Felix van Delt?
Uh-oh.
He's retired
Uh-oh.
with suspension damage.
Let's have a look. He was going side by side with Ben, actually. Oh, and they make contact, and he goes into the barrier, loses his rear wing, and that is going to be his day done. Very unfortunate for Felix van Delft, who was definitely looking like Oh, Antohovsky into the pits. Our championship leader, not the race leader, but our championship leader into the pits, and he does make it stop just fine, no problems there. He goes on to a set of the prime tires after 20 laps, so there's 23 laps remaining in this race. Something tells me that Kweekel is probably going to be going to the end of the race, if I'm not mistaken.
It is possible, with the lighter car, and he's going to be coming out right next to Chris de Jong here. This is going to be interesting going up into turn 4. But it wouldn't surprise me, it is possible, as Van Longerberg just passed Giro in the background. But let's focus on this battle for 6, because de Jong's going to have warm tyres, and he's going to have the run on Antohovsky, and Antohovsky defends it. Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa!
Wow, very, very nice move from Chris de Jong there. He didn't get the position in the end, but I like that a lot.
That was, if you want the definition of aggressive, well, there it is.
Let's watch that again, actually. I'm going to show a replay of that.
I'm completely speechless.
Fantastic job. Great job by Antohovsky as well to spot that and prevent that from happening. As you mentioned, of course, Chris has the warmer tires, but Kweekel has the fresher tires, and I think we're seeing that difference now as he has begun to pull away from Chris de Jong. Very, very close battling between the two of them, though. Of course, they were the ones battling up at the front for the Australian Grand Prix, which Chris did win in the end, but of course disqualified after the race. So Kweekel Antohovsky did win the race technically, but he crossed the line second. So we could see some very interesting battling going on here. And Chris de Jong's tires are older. Yes, I believe he stopped at the end of lap 16, so that would mean that his tires are 4 laps older, which is not a massive difference when you're talking about the primes.
Nah, it's not, but towards the end of the stint you'll find Chris will drop off a little bit. He's even dropped off a bit now. It's 1.4 seconds between Antohovsky and de Jong. I'm just waiting for Smith, just slowly falling behind his teammate. 35.4 for Cook last time around. Smith did a 35.7, so the gap's out to 5 seconds between those two ACR cars now. And see, Smith's sort of in a catch-22 at the moment. He's either got to put primes on to reply to Antohovsky, or he's got to make these primes last so he can put options on at the end and try and he'll have to try and battle his way back past.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him for sure. I mean, he's definitely in the podium fight. Lucas Schmidt looking very, very strong, it has to be said. He's, as you mentioned, dropping off the back of David Cook. As strong as Lucas is looking, David's looking even stronger, to be totally honest. Out in front, 5-second gap to his teammate behind, and looking very, very comfortable out there. Not seeing any sort of issues. In fact, let's go on board with our race leader, David Cook, as he makes his way through Sector 1 and down towards Sector 2 into turn number 4. Nice
He's
and
got
smooth.
some traffic. He's got some traffic up the road.
Yeah.
Theodore, I'm not even going to try that one.
Teodoros and Pascal. Yep. So
this is why I drive and not commentate.
That's all right. It's a process. I'm still learning the names myself.
Oh, Chapon just had a massive slide through turns 9 and 10.
Let's get a replay of that if we can. I'll be the judge of whether or not it was as good as Pasalis's drift at turn 10. Here we go. Seeing the replay of Pascal. Oh wow, big ol' slide. Oh yeah, that was pretty nice actually. I think Pash would be proud. That was quite a nice slide. You have to admit. And the fact that he didn't lose much time either.
I think he might be looking at 15th place in a second.
Yep.
But they've also got to respect the blue flags because David Cook is right on there now. By the way, I give that slide in 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that was quite nice. I well held for sure. I don't think I could have held it that well, that's for sure. But let's see how David Cook manages to get his way through the traffic here.
Yeah, Pascal being his teammate should let him pass a bit easier, but that's not really happening. Oh, don't hit him! Oh, he did hit him!
Yep, they made contact. David does a great job to hold on to it, though. The two of them making contact ever so slightly. David Cook losing the back end through turn number 2 there, but thankfully he was able to catch that slide and continue on, so no problems there for him. Adam McGuire into the pits now. Let's see what he's going to go for with 20 laps remaining. I have a feeling he's already made his stop, so he's going to come out on the prime tires, the medium compound tires, and in 9th position, just behind Felipe Giro, not too far behind him, so and with much fresher tires, of course, so he can start pushing on that. But yeah, look at the gap between David Cook and Lucas Schmidt now, less than 3.5 seconds between them, what was a 5-second gap.
Yeah. So he's lost at least a second and a half, probably more towards 2 seconds there, David Cook. I'm not looking forward to being in the debrief after this race. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So let's see what's going on with our championship leader, Antohovsky, currently running behind the rookie, Jordi Lopez, again. For anybody who may be just joining us, and I realize we're competing for viewership with the real F1 race right now. I've already managed.
Watch this; it's more exciting.
Yep.
That's all I got to say.
Especially with Antohovsky right now, all over the back of Jordi Lopez, losing the back end a little bit there. I don't know if that was lag, but through turn 13, Jordi Lopez defending the inside line through turn 14. No, he's going to let him through. Actually, Jordi deciding he really does not want to go side by side with the championship leader on his first race, and can you really blame him? I don't think so. So Mikhail Antohovsky moves up into 4th position. And I think Lopez gets the DRS, so that'll be a nice little boost for him.
Don't think he'll be over just yet. Lopez is going to get really close to the back of Antohovsky, but not close enough for an overtake.
Nope.
Chris de Jong, though, only, 3 seconds off these guys now, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's on Lopez in the next 5 or 10 laps.
And he's going to be coming to his soft stop, I would imagine, pretty soon, possibly as early as lap 29 or 30. I mean, you know the tires a lot better than I do. Certainly towards the end of the race with some rubber on track and everything, I'd imagine the softs can do 13 or 14 laps if absolutely needed.
They can actually do it quite easily. It sort of depends a little bit on the setup, but
right.
I was using a setup that's a little bit harder on the tires, and it they should be able to do 13 laps fine.
Yeah.
Because I was getting 11, 12 laps. I was actually looking forward to my strategy this race. Because it was going to be similar to my Melbourne one, but oh well.
I did
Such
miss
is
what
life.
happened to you. I totally missed any carnage at the back.
Since it's quiet at the moment, I actually made a decent start. I started 9th, moved up to 7th, and then I was on the inside of, I think it wasn't Giro, and I'm going to interrupt myself because Lucas Smith is in the pit lane.
Oh. There we go.
Which I'm ashamed. See, I think he'll have to put the primes on here.
Yeah.
He won't be able to get to the end, which is sort of a little bit of state by him because Antti already gone by.
Yep.
So is Lopez, so is De Jong. Where's he going to come out in relation to Van Longenberg? He should get out ahead of Van Longenberg. But in reality, it's sort of a missed opportunity for Lucas Smith there. See, I'm finding just how the pit stops are playing out now. Other than Chris de Jong, obviously, because his circumstances, the strategies being played here are very similar to what were being played out in Melbourne, other than Giro not trying to do his one stop. So yeah, now it's quiet down again. So where was I? I was on the inside of I think it was either Giro or Xavier Monaro. And I just pinched the rear brakes going into turn 4, spun me around, and whoever behind me, I'm not sure who it was, but hit me, pretty much broke my suspension. I pitted anyway to see if it was drivable, but as soon as I arrived on the scene at turn 9, the car just went around and was like, nope, I don't want to turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, that put paid to my race.
Well, I have to imagine that's pretty disappointing coming off the podium in Australia. So that's unfortunate.
Particularly since I put like 400 laps of practice in. But Lopez has made a mistake. Joey Lopez has made a mistake because Chris de Jong has passed, Lucas Smith has passed, and he's now down in 6th behind his fellow ATR car. I think he'll have DRS. I can't quite tell.
No, he didn't. If he had it, he didn't open it.
Well, see, that's the thing. He did have DRS, but he didn't open it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
He's got his pit light on as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him bolt a new set of primes on at the end of this lap.
Yep. Yep. Which would be for 17 laps on the primes, which I mean he could really push with that. He doesn't have to worry about tire life.
Yeah, the 17 laps on the primes to the end shouldn't be an issue, especially since the car's a bit lighter. So yeah, see, must be good having me in the booth, Justin. I actually know you like the tire strategy.
Yes, it is very helpful. It's also good to have a second set of eyes as well on circuit, so that you can let me know when something's happening here. Lopez actually has dropped off of Lucas Schmidt as well. Yeah, he's not going to get DRS here on the back straight.
I wonder if he's done quite a bit of tire damage. We didn't see what mistake he made, but I wonder if he's done because he's fallen into clutches of Van Longenberg and Maguire in 7th and 8th now. So as I said, he does have his pit light on, so he's probably going to be in this lap. We'll see shortly.
And Lucas Schmidt actually getting pretty close to Chris de Jong. He's not going to get the DRS here at the end of lap 27. I think we're on. Yep, this is the end of lap 27.
Yeah, and David Cook's still out as well as the world now. So I think we're actually in for a grandstand finish. This is going to look pretty interesting towards the end. No DRS for Lucas Smith, and as I predicted, Joey Lopez is in the pits. Yep. Which doesn't surprise me at all. So he will probably come out in 9th.
Yep, that's how it's looking right now. Pretty big gap to David O'Reilly in 10th position. So yeah, pretty much anybody in the top 9 could make a pit stop and still come out in the top 9. In fact, anybody could make a pit stop in the top 9 and still come out in the top 9. So yeah, big gap back to David O'Reilly, who's actually got Ben Horrell for company. He's not too far behind him, so he definitely can't relax if he wants to grab that final points-paying position. He's going to have to be wary of that extremely pink ACR car behind him.
37-1. Hang on, that's not right. What did David O'Reilly do last lap? 37-1 for O'Reilly last lap, and Ben Horrell did a 36-0. which
Oh.
was actually his personal fastest lap of the race. So he's catching him at quite a rate. So hopefully we won't see what happened in Melbourne and about 5 laps ago when we won't see 2 ACR cars crashing into each other. As David Cook's in.
There we go. Yep, our race leader, David Cook, into the pits for what is inevitably his final planned pit stop anyway. For his sake, I hope it is his last pit stop. And there he goes.
And Howski's going to get by him.
Yep.
So, even though he missed his pit stall in the first round of pit stops, Antohovsky is still in the box seat to win this race.
Yep. And he's not that far behind DeWald Nell either. DeWald heading into turn 4, who is likely going to stop again. I imagine he's going to be trying to go on. He's probably going on to the options.
Actually, he's got his pit light on, so I'd say he'll be pitting this lap.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, that will definitely put Antohovsky into the lead of the race. He's got a bit of traffic, who gets out of the way nicely for him there. So no issues, no contact there with any back markers.
So it sort of backs up the point, and obviously we can see this from De Jong as well, starting from the back, currently forced still to pit again. However, how quick these two drivers are, Antohovsky and De Jong, both very quick aim, but De Jong at the moment has a certain Lucas Schmidt for a bit of company.
Yep, yeah, Lucas Schmidt is definitely closing in. He's just about within DRS range. I don't think he got the DRS on that back straight there, but if he continues the way that he's going right now, I think he'll probably get the DRS on the start-finish straight. He definitely seems pretty darn close coming through turn 13 now. Oh yeah, he's less than 6/10 behind Chris de Jong now, and he's going to be picking up a bit of a slipstream on this penultimate straight as well. Chris de Jong even trying to move to the middle of the track, maybe break that slipstream a little bit if he can, running all the way out to the circuit, just keeping off of the curb narrowly, though. Here goes Lucas Schmidt now. DeWald Nell into the pits for his final stop. Lucas Schmidt with the DRS open in the slipstream of Chris de Jong, heading down towards turn number 1. At lap number 30, he's going to grab the inside line, and yeah, Chris de Jong...
He's locked up.
Yeah, he's not going to fight that.
He had a minor lock-up. To Lucas Schmidt, but makes me stick very nicely. But now De Jong's going to have the run coming up into turn 4, but I think he's just going to sit there. He's or not.
Wow, Chris de Jong with
I need to stop saying. I just need to stop talking.
Chris de Jong clearly
side by side into turn 6.
He loves turn 4. Oh, a bit of contact. Yeah, a bit of contact between the two of them, but no, Chris de Jong does manage to defend the position. Man, he just loves that late braking at turn 4.
It does make it rather spectacular, doesn't it? I love it.
Chris de Jong, not on very new tires either, really doing a fantastic job defending that position on pretty worn tires. I think it was lap 16 when he stopped, if I'm not mistaken. So he's on 13-lap-old primes, nearing 14 laps old now, and defending pretty well from Lucas Schmidt.
Tell you what, though, Justin, that was purely hard racing at its pretty much best. There was a car around up ahead. It was a lap car. I think it was Cirrus. Yeah, it was Cirrus.
Oh, and Chris might actually pick up DRS here.
Yeah, he will. He's definitely close enough.
Yep, which will be fantastic for him to defend.
Want to hit it. Oh, God.
Yeah, it looks like Theodoros is going to move out of the way.
There's an ACR car pitting.
Pascal.
Pascal Chapon.
Yep.
I keep thinking, I thought it was David Cook for a second.
And Chris de Jong hangs on to that position. What is a podium position at the moment, but again, Chris de Jong still needs to pit in this race. He's going to have to be going onto the soft tires, and I imagine he's going to be doing that relatively soon. Here goes Lucas Schmidt with the inside line into turn 4. Chris squeezing him. Oh, he switches back to try and go around the outside. Can't quite pull it off.
Sorry. Mixing my words. Giro's in the pit lane, but we'll get back to that a little bit later. Lucas should have stayed on the outside there and just drove around the outside of him.
Yep, yeah, he tried to grab the inside line and pressure Chris to give him room, but Chris just would not budge. He gave him exactly as much room as he needed to, and not an inch more. And Lucas just could not get by. Here we go. Another opportunity for Lucas Schmidt with the DRS. I think he's too far back. It's not a very long straight, of course, on this back straight. This will help get him a little bit closer, though. And he does. He gets very close. He's right up on the back, just a car length between the two of them as they head through turn number 11. And he is...
Sorry, Justin, but De Jong's not pitting this lap either. What was I going to say? The pass into turn 11 that you're just talking about, Lucas, very hard to make since it's not the longest braking as
Right.
the on defense. But yeah, not the easiest overtake to make with the short braking zone and the early apex. So it's actually a very hard move to make. It's actually easy to go around the outside there, but Lucas, here we go again into turn 1 now. DRS for Lucas Smith. De Jong on the inside, Smith on the outside.
Oh, very nice move around the outside.
Very nice.
Yeah, very well done by Lucas Schmidt.
But now De Jong's going to have the run again.
Oh!
And a slipstream. Here we go. His favourite corner.
There's a car off in the background.
Oh, he's hit him! He's hit him!
Uh-oh. Yep, and Lucas has lost his rear wing.
That's Smith's race over.
Yeah, that is race over for Lucas Schmidt as he quickly finds out heading into turn number 5 that he has no rear wing. Let's have a replay of that. Chris de Jong is going to dive bomb up the inside, I assume, again. Yeah, and he just makes contact with Lucas Schmidt there. I have to side with Lucas, I think, on that one, just looking at the single replay, because he held his line. He did not move under braking, and unfortunately, that is his race over. Lucas Schmidt fighting for the podium. Makes some contact with Chris de Jong, and that is going to be his race very unfortunately over, and I'm sure Lucas is very upset. Yep. I think he's just...
Yeah, he's retired now.
Yep.
He's retired. De Jong's pitting this. He's got his pit line on, so he'll be pitting this lap. And now he's got Adam Maguire for company, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if De Jong has a penalty after this one.
Nope. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me either. Yeah, he is going to come into the pits, though, at the end of lap 32, so he's going to be on for an 11-lap stint on the soft tires. Bit of a lockup into the pits, but he's all right. He's got that funky pit. No, okay. He had the early pit box in the qualifying session, but now he's going to continue on a little bit further down. And Van Lagerenberg as well into the pits, I assume, for a set of the option tires for him. So he's going to be, I assume, finishing behind Chris de Jong. Chris de Jong comes out of the pits, and he is behind... Nope, sorry, I think that's Pascal.
Pascal.
Yeah, sure is.
So he's in fifth, but I'm trying to work out what that might be a 30-second penalty for Chris de Jong.
Oof.
So I'm just trying to work out where he might be.
But
if it's a 30-second penalty, he needs to start moving pretty quickly because Lopez is only about 8 seconds behind. Van Longerberg's just behind him, as is Giro. So at the moment, if de Jong gets a 30-second penalty, I think he's going to end up P8 in between Giro and Horrell. But we'll see post-race, once the official results are out later this week, or next week, I should say, what the penalty is for Chris de Jong.
And so after Chris pits, that moves Adam Maguire up into third into a podium position. So after having a drive-through penalty for jumping the start, Adam Maguire back into a podium position, which is fantastic for him. It has to be said. He DNF'd in Australia, so these would be Maguire's first points of the season. DeWald Neld running not that far behind him, but I don't think he's going to be pressuring Adam unless Maguire has some serious mistakes or something like that. Antti currently leading the race. Yeah.
No, because DeWald's on the option tyre, and he's only just put that tyre on.
Has he? Okay.
DeWald Neld. And Maguire's on the prime, so I wouldn't actually count DeWald out of the podium just yet.
Okay. So yeah, we do have a podium fight on our hands. Antti stopped a long time ago. I mean, we've got 10 laps to go in this race, and it's been a while since Antti stopped. I don't know if you can check for me to see what lap he came in on, but he's on pretty old primes. He's got a 4.5-second gap to David Cook, but of course, if he has to pit again, then he's going to be in some trouble. I don't imagine. I mean, with 10 laps remaining, though.
I don't think he will.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing we need to look at here, last lap, Antti did a 35.4. Cook did a 35.0.
Oh.
So 4/10 in the favor of David Cook.
With 10 laps remaining, 4-second gap.
It's not quite enough.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is this time around. Antti does a 35-0. What does Cook reply with? Cook replies with a 34-5. That's a bit more like
wow.
it. The gap between the first two is 4.4 seconds with 10 laps to go.
So we've definitely got a race on our hand, not just for third, but also for first. Adam Maguire currently on primes, defending from DeWald Nell, who's on fresher options. Mikhail Antohovsky defending from David Cook. Antohovsky on older tires compared to Cook. Cook lapping 4 to 5 tenths a lap quicker, and with a 4.4 second gap between them, 9 seconds to go. He definitely could get within DRS range, especially if there's any sort of mistakes from Antohovsky, but lots of pressure on Cook here.
Cook was 3 tenths faster in the first sector alone on this lap, which is not necessarily where his tire advantage is going to help him. It's going to be more sector 2 that it's going to help him, because that's where most of the twisties are, compared to sectors 1 and 3, which are mainly straights. So I'll be interested to see as they come up to the end of Cook comes up to the end of sector 2 now. Gap down to 3.6. That was half a second in the sector 2 alone. So far this lap, Cook's taken 8 tenths out of Mikhail Antohovsky.
Now, the real question, I wonder if Mikhail Antohovsky is possibly backing off to save tires for a possible late race battle. He could be backing off and saving his tires so that he can still have some tires left to battle Cook with at the end of the race. 3.2 seconds now, the gap between them. Or possibly Antohovsky maybe used too much boost 2 in the early stages of this race and is possibly just struggling with fuel consumption now, whereas David Cook maybe has some extra fuel to play with. And any number of things could be the issue here.
Well, I know what David's strategy is with fuel, but I'll keep that as classified. But last lap was his fastest lap of the race with a 34.4 compared to Antohovsky's 35.6.
Wow.
And it's down to
seconds.
it's down to 3 seconds now, so he's still taking time out of the race leader. This one is going to go down to the absolute wire.
And if David Cook overtakes Antohovsky, then basically they would be finishing this race in the reverse order that they finished in Australia, after Antohovsky took the win in Australia and David Cook came home in second. So David trying to hopefully switch that around. Interestingly enough, it seems to me that David Cook is catching Antohovsky faster than DeWald Nell is catching Adam Maguire, even though DeWald Nell is actually on those option tires. The gap between those two currently 3.5 seconds, and I think that's around what it was when we were checking before. So
Yeah.
DeWald Nell not quite making the progress we anticipated, and David Cook making much better progress than we anticipated.
Well, Maguire's actually just holding the gap to DeWald Nell, and they are teammates, so it wouldn't surprise me if that stays station. But this battle for the lead is anything but quiet. It's down to 2.2 now. Another second out. David Cook took another second out from Mikhail Antohovsky that time around. And they got a bit of traffic just up the road. That's Pedro Moya and Ben Holwell, David O'Reilly and Dave Paling, who have actually just swapped positions a little further up the road. I'm not sure if they'll catch them. But this is going to be an interesting little fight to the end. As they come to the end of Sector 1, it's down to, it stays at 2.2. So they were dead equal through Sector 1 that time around.
Very, very close. David Cook under a lot of pressure here. I mean, he really needs to keep doing what he's doing. He hasn't made any sort of major mistakes or anything. And there's the traffic now for Antohovsky through turn 10. I'm on board with David Cook as it stands right now. But yeah, Antohovsky, I imagine, got DRS there.
He did get it, but he's not using it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very. So Moria should quickly get out of the way. He got out of the way of Antohovsky pretty quickly, so he should do the same with David Cook. He took 2 tenths out of Antohovsky through Sector 2, so it's down to 2 seconds now. As we come up to the end of lap 37, which is going to leave 7 laps remaining, if my Australian maths is correct. Six laps remaining.
Yeah.
Promise I did maths BNC at school. As it's down to 1.8, so not as much, only 3-4 tenths of a second for Cook that time around. But even that, at this late stage, is going to be enough to at least put him on the rim. Oh, Antohovsky Had a little merit coming out turn 1 there.
Oh, let me go ahead and get a replay of that real quick. So here's Antohovsky coming down the start-finish straight, heading into turn number 1. And let's have a look at what Daniel spotted here. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a moment. No doubt about that.
It cost him 2. It cost him 8 tenths in the first sector. The gap between the first 2 cars is down to a second. David Cook is within DRS range.
Here we go. Out of the turn 8 hairpin. Into turns number 9 and 10. Fighting that dirty air all the while, of course, is David Cook. And he's definitely going to be picking up DRS here, I have to imagine. Yes, he does. DRS wing is wide open as they head down towards turn number 11. As Daniel mentioned, not a fantastic overtaking location. So, yeah, David Cook is going to stay behind through turn 11 and 12 and into 13 as well. And I imagine he won't be looking to make the overtake into turn 14 either. He'll probably be trying to do it into turn number 1. So here we go, out of turn number 13, running very close behind Antohovsky, our current championship leader. David Cook second in the championship standings in the slipstream. Here we go. Through the final couple of corners. He's going to pick up the DRS here, no problem. Is Antohovsky going to defend the inside line? Oh, and a big moment for Antohovsky there. I think his tires have fallen off. We touched on earlier. He pit so much earlier.
Rear tires are probably gone on Antohovsky's car, so David Cook's now very much in the box seat to win this race. And you probably got the lead a bit easier than he expected. We've also got we've got a train of ACR cars coming through turn 12, but Jordi Lopez and Eugene Van Longerberg fighting it out for 6 at the moment. It seems that Van Longerberg is the quicker of the 2 on those options. Did Jordi put options on as well? No, he's put the primes on. So it should be a pretty easy move for Van Longerberg here and the teammates, so please don't crash into each other. I don't want the debrief after the race to be any worse.
So I'm having a look at Van Longerberg as they go down the start-finish straight now, heading into turn number 1. He's definitely not within overtaking range. He could possibly get a slipstream here, though, coming out of turns 2 and 3. Getting the throttle down, and yeah, he's definitely too far back. I don't see any sort of overtake happening here. Antohovsky, meanwhile, dropping way off.
Jordi seems to be quick in a straight line. That's what I just noticed. And he seemed to get a good run through 2 and 3, and actually has a decent amount of straight line speed over Eugene. Just a little thing, and Antohovsky's just dropped a second in the second sector alone. So I think he'll still hold on to P2 though. I think if his tyres just hold on, he'll stay ahead of his teammate.
Yeah.
Maguire.
So we're on lap 39, so there's 4 laps remaining. Maguire would have to be a solid 2 to 3 seconds a lap faster than Antohovsky to really to put any sort of pressure on the championship leader as it stands right now. Of course, if they finish... Oh, that was a bit of a lockup there from Van Longerberg, but if we finish as they are right now, this would put Cook and Antohovsky tied on points with a win each and a second-place finish each. Van Longerberg, though, pressuring Jordi Lopez, the rookie, the American rookie, Jordi Lopez, currently holding on to that 6th-place position. Chris de Jong in a very lonely 5th place right now, it has to be mentioned. 11 seconds off of DeWald Nell, possibly with a penalty, though, it should be mentioned.
Yeah, I was about to say that's I'm going to guess that's a temporary 5th place for Chris de Jong. He is using DRS. I thought Eugene wasn't using DRS then. He doesn't seem to be closing in. Jordi seems to be very quick in a straight line. It's he's able to hold Eugene off, which I don't want to be not only obviously club president but of team owner Chris Cobb right now. I'm getting jitters just in the commentary box, and I'm not even the team owner or team principal. I'm just a driver. Oh god.
Lopez actually having an issue into turn 5 or at the exit of turn 4 there. I'm not sure which, but that's brought Van Longerberg right up behind him as they head into the back DRS straight. Very, very close behind him on those option tires. He's going to get... Oh, and a bit of a wheel spin moment at the exit of turn 10. That's going to drop Van Longerberg right out from behind Jordi Lopez, which I'm sure Jordi is thrilled about right now. I'm sure that's exactly what he was hoping for.
He's definitely feeling pressure. He missed the apex at turn 10, did Jordi Lopez, but obviously Eugene's pushing pretty hard as well. It's very hard coming out of there, because you're sort of trying to select second, third, fourth gear with all the torque, and then trying to open DRS all at the same time, trying to put it on to boost 2. You're actually doing quite a lot in quite a short space of time coming out of turn 10. As Eugene's not really close enough again.
No, I think he had a slide
Jordy
actually into turn 14. I think he had a little bit of a slide moment. He was quite close behind him on that penultimate straight, but lost quite a bit of time through that final corner, which unfortunately just put him a little too far back to do anything. They've got some traffic up ahead. I think that might be, yeah, that's Vicentovic. Currently 3 laps down. He's obviously had a tough race for sure. 11 drivers, though, still on the lead lap. I'm not sure how much longer Ben Horrell is going to be able to stay on the lead lap, though. He's actually got David Cook right behind him.
Still better than 7 we had in Melbourne.
Yeah, or actually 6. Yeah.
No, I thought it was 7.
No, I'm showing Pedro Gomez in 7th as a lap down.
Oh no, because I forgot De Jong.
Yeah. So it would have been 7, but yeah, because of De Jong's disqualification. So yeah, no, I guess you're right. I guess it was 7. Eugene, don't hit him. Eugene completely missed his braking marker into through turn 9 and almost ran into the back. He's actually dropped in quite a fair way back from Jordy. Jordy may just hold on to 6th place now. Ooh, wow, that was very close. Just watching a replay of that right now. Very, very close. And Eugene is running out of laps to get this done. Not just in terms of the race, but in terms of his tires as well. He is just losing tons of tire life with all this sliding that he's doing. And in fact, Jordy is going to pick up the DRS here, I think, off of Vicentovic. Let's see if he does, in fact, get the DRS. Yes, he sure does. So that is fantastic news for him as they start lap number 42, the penultimate lap of this race. Jordi Lopez holding on to that 6th place position, narrowly ahead of Eugene van Loggerenberg. David Cook still leading this race, now a 7.6 second gap to Mikhail Antohovsky. With that kind of gap, I mean, I think it was only a matter of time before David Cook got by even without Antohovsky's mistake.
Yeah.
Clearly, David Cook got the strategy right today. Antohovsky did not. Antohovsky, though, did have his problems. I mean, he and Adam Maguire probably should have been ahead of David Cook if not for the drive-through penalty for Adam Maguire and the missed pit for Mikhail Antohovsky, which is essentially like a drive-through penalty or like a stop-and-go almost. So those two guys probably should have been ahead of David Cook if not for those. Adam Maguire narrowly, though. He's only 13 seconds behind David Cook, so that would have put him only a handful of seconds ahead of the ACR driver. But David Cook is looking like he's going to grab his first win of the season as he starts the final lap of this race, round 2 of FSR Pro from Bahrain. David Cook looking like he is going to take the win pretty easily. The only cars in front of him are back markers, and in fact...
and I think he's actually been pretty nice to Ben Horrell and just letting him finish in the lead lap, which is good, because Ben's technically my teammate, so go Ben!
Just outside the points, unfortunately, for Ben, but you have to say, a very strong race for him after starting from 22nd position. He did a fantastic job. Yeah, he's going to let him through.
Passed.
Yeah.
And considering Ben had some personal issues, and that's why he didn't race at Melbourne, and obviously the bounce back with a really good performance. I think David wants to let him back pass and let him finish on the lead lap here. But to bounce back with he didn't have the best qualifying, but to bounce back with an 11th in his first race back, his first race of the season, is a very good recovery.
Yep. And Antohovsky went on board with him briefly. Sorry to who asked for an onboard with Mikhail. I didn't notice it until right at the end of the race here. But here comes David Cook through the final couple of corners to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, round 2 of the FSR 2016 Pro season. And a huge congratulations after picking up a podium in Australia. David Cook gets a win here in Bahrain ahead of Mikhail Antohovsky. The two of them now tied on points with a win each and a second place each. Adam Maguire going to come home in third position, picking up a podium, a very well-deserved podium after failing to score points or even finish the race in Australia. DeWald Nell, in the end, could not close in on Adam Maguire. We thought he might have a chance with those option tires, but in the end, finishing about 2.5 seconds behind Adam Maguire. Chris de Jong, after a back-of-grid start, is going to cross the line to finish in the top 5. A fantastic result for Chris de Jong. Of course, he might have a penalty, though. In fact, he likely has a penalty. Jordi Lopez, on his debut for ACR, coming home in 6th position. A fantastic result for Jordi Lopez. Eugene van Lagerenberg is going to come home in 7th, with Felipe Giro actually not far behind him. Oh, is Felipe Giro going to overtake him at the last possible moment? He steals 7th position.
Van Lagerberg must have run out of fuel.
He must have. Van Lagerenberg must have run out of fuel. Felipe Giro stealing that 7th place position right at the end of the race. Felipe Giro, what a fantastic way to end his race. Dave Paling finishes in 9th position ahead of David O'Reilly. A couple of Daves rounding out the top 10. A good result for both of those drivers. And I'm sure they're going to be happy grabbing some points. And Ben Horrell just outside the top 10, just missing out on some points. He's followed by Pedro Mora, Adam Osgur, Theodoros, and Pascal Chapon. Theodoros, if you're watching this back, please go on the FSR forums and teach me how to pronounce your last name. I would appreciate that very much. And Vicentovic, the final driver to finish the race after all of the DNFs. Lucas Schmidt, a very, very tough race for him after making that contact with Chris de Jong. I'm sure he's very upset after what would have been almost certainly a podium finish, or at least some solid points. He was looking very, very strong, but huge congratulations go out to David Cook. A fantastic result for him. I'm sure he's going to be very happy. He did one better after getting that 2nd place in Australia. He did one better, picked up the win here in Bahrain today.
So, just looking at our little team chat. Shout out to Peter Bell for giving me this little bit of information. Between ACR and OFR, the two teams were 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Wow. That is quite a result for the team. I'm sure they're going to be very, very happy about that one.
2 teams.
Yeah. For the 2 teams. Yeah, sorry. I'm sure everybody is going to be thrilled about that one, but of course, nobody is going to be more excited than David Cook. And Mikhail Antohovsky, I think, with considering the problems that he had missing the pit stop and everything like that, I think he will be satisfied with that 2nd place finish. It's going to keep him in the championship hunt as well. Now, we've got the WC race coming up pretty darn soon, actually. So I think we're going to have to go ahead and wrap up this stream. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me, Daniel. I really appreciate having the company in the commentary booth.
All good.
And thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you tune in for the WC race coming up soon. And we will see you next time for round 3 of FSR 2016. Bye-bye.